You heard they said at Starbucks?
Nah.
They said they're gonna provide maternity leave and they're gonna provide travel to get an abortion for every one of their workers, except for the ones that work in the unionized stores. But I will also say this is a thing as well, and this is a very important topic. And I'm not saying that these companies are anti-abortion or pro-abortion. I don't know either. But I will say, one thing you really have to realize, it is a lot cheaper for these companies to pay for a singular woman to go to another state to get an abortion than it is for them to pay for them for 52 weeks of maternity leave.
Do you trust it though?
The reason I trust it is that point exactly. You can go pay someone $1,000 to $3,000 and say go to a different state rather than having them leave for half a year and you have to pay them their full salary. This is the After Hours episode. Welcome. Okay, now we got it done. On that as well.
And let me just say real quick, we're doing a mailbag. We got a bunch of questions from y'all viewers and whatnot.
I don't think it's. Yeah. What's so crazy to me is like, how can I believe something and then tell somebody to follow that belief? Yeah. That's where it really mess up my mind the whole way. Where it mess up my mind the whole way because it's like people are trying to frame it as in like you have to get an abortion. Yeah. No, we're just giving you the choice to do so.
Exactly.
So if people say like it'd be like white women on Twitter, they'd be like, you know, if I decided to abort the child when I was 17, it wasn't going to ruin my 20s, but I had the child instead and now they lived a beautiful life. Like I saw it on Twitter. But that's what the reason the law was for, so that you can decide whether or not you want to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I get what you're saying, bro. The reason why I asked if you trust it is because there were women that were like, that were saying on Twitter like, don't trust these companies because it might be a setup.
I trust the company. The setup, it can't be a setup because the way that lawsuit is going to look, if it's a setup, even though the law is not in effect, like it's not the law of the land anymore, that lawsuit to where it's like deception is still crazy. Mm-hmm. And then on the second end, I trust it because it's still in the best interest of capitalism. It's in your best interest to pay someone a few thousand to go one time to a place than it is to pay for them to be gone for months and months and months. Like that adds up. Yeah, they're not doing any work for your company. You're just paying them to leave.
I got a question. Yeah. All right, let's say I get what if I get my 3K, right? I go to the clinic. I can't go through with it. I got to return that 3K.
I don't know.
In that case,
I don't know. Will they ask for like paperwork, documents?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Yeah.
If it's a form of payment, you have to show some type of that you paid for it.
Okay. They may do it like like some jobs do. Like my job is like reimbursements. Mm. So for like example, you go to a gym, you go get your college education, things like that. You show the bill and they give you the money. Yeah, they probably won't do a good faith and be like, here goes $3,000. Go travel to the state.
I'm like, make sure you come back. It will be some scams that will be tried. I'm just saying.
I think next topic.
No, I'm
gonna get these takes off.
I want to say
scamming the clinics, man.
I'll say real quick too, like in terms of like, obviously we answered the question about someone said like, what are your thoughts on like Roe v. Wade and it being overturned? The narrative that some people take in terms of just like, and I say this as somebody who is a Christian, it's like the people who like quickly reference the Bible or try to frame this issue in a biblical or religious way, it's like really, really wrong because it's so backwards too because
I was gonna say real quick, I know you're probably gonna go down this route, but like literally, even in the Bible, free will was given at the very beginning. Mm-hmm. So if nothing else, choice has always been there. If we really want to go biblical, like choice has always been there.
I got a question, teacher.
I was gonna say the people that always use the Bible like that, they always use just certain parts of it and say whatever they believe and ignore everything else.
That's also like a real thing you gotta have is like if you practice faith, especially like not even practice faith, if you practice like Christianity as a black person, you gotta realize too like that religion has been weaponized in
the white man
to literally enslave us and also just
absolutely
that's reasoning.
Yeah, and then the thing too, like it was literally used as a reason for why like slave traders should go to Africa and or what's the term for like people like go to teach the word like we have to like
missionaries
missionaries right because they thought they were of higher intellect. But the thing I was going to say though is kind of that. But what I was really going to talk about is that like people trying to frame this issue in a biblical way is like very backhanded because there is this concept of the separation of church and state.
Yeah,
where it's like there should be.
Did you see the thing today?
Yeah,
where they let the player. So the guy he prayed on the field with the students, and there's like, nah, you can't do that. They just ruled that you can pray with your
you
students
can
now.
The problem was he forced the players to pray with him.
Public school.
So he's not supposed to do that.
You can't do that public
Supreme Court cooking, man. They really.
They like reversing laws. 50 years of progress.
So they're allowing people to.
But it's so crazy.
No. It wasn't the fact that you're allowed to pray, but it's like
publicly.
Force the players to pray.
Teachers and and school officials can like force students to pray.
They can now.
They can.
I seen a tweet that said, "Just let them start running up that Muslim prayer in class and see what happens." They're gonna reverse it back real quick.
I love to see that.
But
my favorite one.
What's with the Supreme Court as well? They're literally contradicting themselves because they said that the reason that they overturned Roe v. Wade was that it was not in the history and the tradition of America because it's only been in the case for like 50 years in regards to like a 400, 500 year history. But if you look at separation of church and state, that was since the beginning of time, and they just reversed it, literally just contradicting themselves because that's something that was a part of the conception of the states.
So they basically trying to say there was no precedent.
You said this for public schools, right?
You know, for public schools, which is even.
That's state.
I think
that's confusing. It's private school. That's two different things. That's why.
Yeah, private school you can do it,
but then also
the
the Supreme Court just ruled that you have to give public funding to private schools, no which faith they follow. So
really,
so it was one private school who's doing it, and they wanted funding to like bring students in, and they're still charging and everything, but they felt like it was unfair because public schools are getting funding and they weren't getting funding, even though it's supposed to be separation of church and state. So again, they're really cooking right now.
Bad right now.
And the reason they cooking so bad, nothing's going to happen to them for at least 20, 30 years because
all of us like 5-4. Wasn't like close votes?
no, it's 6-3. It's continuously becoming 6-3. No, you don't need 6 votes. You just need a majority.
To expand on that point, not even this most recent election, but 2016 was arguably one of the most important elections in looking at like how the laws will, the Supreme Court was set up. Because I don't remember how many, but Trump appointed. I think three.
He did 3.
It was Amy Cohen, Brett Kavanaugh, and I forgot the third name.
Those are the
amazing.
The last woman.
RGB.
No.
I thought you were talking about you mentioned that.
They replaced and.
Okay.
I remember back like in 2016. Right before the end of 2016, Mitch McConnell, he blocked it because he was like, it's during an election year. Obama was about to appoint someone. Then during this election year coming up, he let it happen, and Trump was able to appoint that last person because Ruth Bader Ginsburg died like in the summer, June or July.
And she should have
retired because they were asking her too. They were like, but she said she's good. She said she was healthy, so she was going to be fine. And then she unfortunately passed away.
And I think looking at the picture of the Supreme Court justices, Trump and the rest of the Republican Party knew exactly what they were doing by appointing 50-year-old appointees because the Supreme Court is a lifetime appointment or until they decide to step down. So for now, they have almost complete control of the Supreme Court.
For at least 5 or 6.
Because I want to say Clarence Thomas is the oldest Republican justice. And the Democrats, even, I think one of their justices is at least 70. I don't know his name. But
Clarence Thomas is pretty
and Clarence Thomas is really trying to cook right now the way he's discussing the potential.
He wants to go back on same-sex
marriage, contraceptive.
Notice he didn't say Loving versus Virginia.
Yeah, let's talk about Loving versus Virginia.
Really crazy.
Like we know why.
I don't know. We want to talk about Loving versus Virginia.
Did y'all see the documentary of Clarence Thomas?
No, I might need to watch it.
I saw it came. Oh my bad.
I only saw like
a series. It came out like 5-6 years ago. Maybe I watched it. I don't know everything about that man. He is sick.
Yeah, Clarence Thomas. They'll mention all the progressive amendments that come in place. Yeah. But the one thing that he won't dare to mention, and a lot of other Republicans, especially Black Republicans at that, will not mention is Loving versus Virginia, which is the right for interracial marriage. Clarence Thomas is a Black man married to a white woman. Love whoever you want to, and that's the whole point of all these laws.
Do what you want to do.
That's been the whole point. People claim to want so much freedom, but they like to create laws that are based in Christianity. My name's Christian. I'm a Christian, but as a Christian, I don't know. I'm saying, keep it in there. I'm just saying, as a Christian.
Okay, all right.
However, I
haven't heard that since youth service, man.
I'm Christian. I am Christian. Brought to you by.
However I feel, or however other people in Christianity feel, I don't feel like that should dictate the laws that are created. Mm-hmm. And I don't always subscribe to all the beliefs in Christianity or all the beliefs that other Christians mention that are based in Christianity that they try to make it seem as that should be the law of the land. And like somebody mentioned, there's supposed to be a separation of church and state.
That's literally within the First Amendment. Like freedom of religion has been a thing since the forefathers were writing the Constitution.
And abortion is supposed to be like
it's something
in Jewish religion.
It's okay
right?
in Jewish and in Islamic religion, and that's literally violating somebody's freedom to practice their own religion in the United States.
So
that was a good start though. A lot of people asked about that.
So we'll pass it to our producer Caleb, who will be providing us with the questions.
What are you shaking his head for?
Mailbag.
Okay, I didn't know y'all recording that whole time.
Yeah, we was.
You thought we was just chopping it up on never mind.
People ask this. How did you all eat?
Oh wow, that's a good question.
Well, that's a great question.
Wow, that's
as the last person who joined the group chat,
Nate?
I think I should.
I think Nate was the last.
No, I was the last.
No, I was
Nate was
last.
last.
I was last.
When did you join the group chat?
I joined
Like
he
4
joined
months
it late.
ago.
I think Abdullah added him in because I think he was talking to Jalen about that Jalen.
You know what? I'll give the rundown.
Because
I remember what it was. But pretty much, GG, CT, Brian all went to Oxford Hill with someone named Abdullah. Abdullah was a friend I had in college. A friend I met in college, my bad. That also went to Oxford Hill with him. Long story short, what happened was he was pretty much like having like girl issues like every other guy was. It wasn't like anything crazy. It was just like, you know, like what do I do? No, like we've all had that where it's like, what do I do? Like what do I say to her? Like, you know, that juncture of like that interaction. And I was giving him advice, and then he was just talking about like, oh yeah, I got some friends who will also ask, yada yada. And then I was like, oh word. He's like, yeah, I think they're like. He was like, oh, you have like the same common humor like some of them do, like in terms of like same sense of humor. So he just added me, and I kind of like hit off real quick with JG over text. I was like, yeah. So then after that, I got to know what you are. What is wrong with you, man?
It was him first.
Anyway,
he looked at me.
I was going.
thanks. I hit off with JG, I hit off with Brian, and then I got to like know the rest of y'all.
Y'all got breakfast yesterday, right? I'm asking.
they did. We did,
yeah.
Hey, where did y'all go?
We went to Steak and Egg.
What did you get from Steak and Egg? What they call it?
What they call it?
Yeah.
Oh, I got.
Yeah, because we've been with you before, and you got what do they call it?
They call it Killer Fish.
Okay.
That's crazy. I wasn't there, huh?
Yeah.
No, I'm sick.
It was just y'all two.
He literally invited all of us.
No, he didn't.
I was in North
No, he
Carolina.
didn't.
I didn't ask you for chat.
He did. He got there. I was the only one that saw it.
No, because look, you was talking about.
He was talking about. You saw my story.
He was talking about today.
Yeah, I said let's go today.
You asked
He was
at
talking
4 o'clock.
he was talking about pancakes for dinner.
And what did I ask you? I said, have you ever gone to IHOP at night? Have you ever gone to IHOP?
Damn near 24 hours.
See?
I shouldn't have told him that.
You ever went to IHOP at dark?
I don't go to IHOP.
So
like,
I don't go to IHOP after a certain time if I'm sober.
No, you gotta go to Steak is like, it's not like Waffle House, but it's like the closest thing you'll get in the area to Waffle House in terms of like the entertainment you'll get past midnight there.
That's a 35-minute game.
I know what I'm saying.
And that's crazy because their cakes is like $14. It's not
not a killer cake. If you get normal stack, it's not that much.
Okay.
Yeah. So to finish up,
They some good pancakes, all right. But yeah, to finish it off, that's
yeah. But so that's how Nate got at it. The rest of us, we kind of knew. I knew JV obviously from middle school, and I knew Jalen from Oxon, and then I met CT and Brandon in college at Towson, and then we like started a fantasy football league. So then I just made a group chat to add all 5 of us, and then that's how that kind of started out.
Wait.
I was in the group chat before Nate.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were in there.
Actually, was.
I don't think.
No, because I didn't get added to like April of last year.
Yeah, but
No,
he
you
got
were
added.
in before then.
No, Nate
was in.
I can go to.
Because you were
Nate was in there after
around
you.
fantasy football time.
I remember Nate being added.
Watch this.
There's no
I have.
way.
I still have the DM of pause.
It's probably 2020, low key. When we got added.
It had to be pre-pandemic, bro.
I got added from. I don't even remember.
Bro, Spooky just
Why would you add it?
Was it from Spooky?
You don't even watch.
I did watch basketball back in that day.
You wasn't part of the fantasy football.
I was.
25th, 2020.
This was my 3rd year doing fantasy.
I was definitely added after you then.
Okay, then yeah, you was in it for a minute then.
This is my 3rd year doing fantasy. So the way I met y'all, I think it was from. I think it was from. It was either from JG or DeMarco, one of the two.
Because we were in the same building, right?
Who?
Me and you. Were you an RA? Because we're being Tyler C together.
I met Brandon and Burdick.
Yeah, I met you and Burdick.
I don't know if
I met JB as a youngin, but I don't think he added me from that. I think it was like freshman year of college.
In Tower C first.
Yeah, it was freshman year of college for real. But I didn't meet you till we met. We had a mutual friend, so we met through like Redacted probably, and then that's where we probably became friends.
Nah, he said the right thing.
Yeah, so we probably met through one of them. I don't know which Redacted. That's why I say Redacted.
Oh,
we have a decent amount of mutual friends.
Nate might have been right. He might have been wrong.
Every time somebody asks me about the podcast, they be like, "Oh, you doing that podcast with Brandon?"
Man, that's crazy.
Oh,
what a guy!
You're on
what
that Brandon podcast.
All right,
welcome to the Brandon podcast.
Somebody they invited me to their birthday thing because they thought I quote. They said, "I thought you were busy doing the podcast with Brandon." I get the 24/7.
Caleb, next question. Caleb, next question. These the OGs, so they don't get the answer.
Oh wait, no, hold on. I get the answer too. I'm gonna go down the line. I met Sports Fan. I call him Sports Fan. That's his gamer tag. If y'all want to add him, Sports Fan 00. He's really good at 2K and Madden. So,
is he?
You know, if you need somebody to play with,
come on.
I met him at Oxon Hill. I think we had gym class together. That's where I met him. You know, he was a 5-star cornerback in high school. I met OG JB. Technically we met at Towson. I just didn't know him like that. We had class together.
We didn't meet.
We ain't really meet, but I knew it because the first time he pulled up to hoop, we was in the group chat. And I didn't really know what
he was giggling back in lecture halls.
Like no. First date. I used to see her around school. We didn't really talk too much.
Oh my god!
Then we got on that court.
I recognized JB from having a sport management class with him. I don't remember which class it was, but I recognized him from there. I met Brandon and Burdick hooping. I met Brian. I didn't really meet Brian at Oxon, but we had talked about the Celtics and the Kentucky Wildcats. Because I ain't never really meet somebody who was both a Celtics fan and a Kentucky Wildcats fan. So, you know, we kind of clicked over that. And then I just really met Nate in person because Nate is a really good basketball player, guys. And before Nate met all of us, Nate. We had never hooped with Nate. We had never hooped with Nate before. So, you know, the first time we hooped, I think we went to UMD. That's where, you know, Nate goes to school. Well, went to school because he was a graduate. Congratulations. Nate is a graduate. I met Nate at UMD for the first time. You know, he was telling us where he was at. Me and Brandon didn't know what he looked like, so we were just looking around.
Oh, no. That was so sick. We in the parking lot talking about he's saying where y'all at. I've never seen this man. I don't know what car he drives. I don't know what he looks like. He talking about I'm here. It's 50 cars in here.
Okay, but there were only like 2 cars moving the parking lot. One was mine.
No, but we was on the bottom floor though.
I was on the bottom floor with y'all.
No, you was not.
Did I not park like 2 cars away from you?
We came up from
the
bottom. Yeah, we came up from the bottom. We was sitting there. It was all these cars here. Then we went around the corner, and then that's when we saw like 2 cars. But there was a man in there working on his car. Yeah, so it was a little scary, you know. I'm pretty sweet. I'm not about to be working on this.
College Park, man.
Okay. I'm living up in Marlboro, College Park a little.
So Caleb, the next question.
Damn, I want to go.
Oh, my bad, JB.
What you mean, bro?
Go ahead, JB. Go ahead.
I same story. Meet Nate. Met Nate in person probably like what was it? A couple months ago now.
Yeah.
I ain't go to the first hooping session.
It was when we went to the secondary because you pulled up. I remember.
I ain't
we hooped the day before, and then you weren't there. We went to UMD, but you was up there.
At UMD?
He was.
No,
I
think Caleb was there too, right?
I don't know. I know
Caleb was at Steak and Egg.
I've been. Oh, you're right.
Yeah. It was the 5 of us, and Caleb Bryan was in there.
But I think I seen Nate because I was visiting Bill Belly a couple times. I probably seen him before. Yeah. But now they told me he was 6'2", and he was better than hooping than all of us. So I thought that was crazy.
6'2"?
You didn't say that. Yeah. They told us that.
CT taller than me.
They said you was 6'2" and he was a dog. That's what they told me.
That's crazy.
Who told you that?
Go back to the message.
Next question.
Wait, I told you he was a dog?
Next.
God said he was shooting the lights out. He's 6'2".
Oh no, yeah, I did say he had a shot. Yeah,
and 6'2", he could be.
I don't think I said he was 6'2".
Nah, I don't remember that.
See, you taller than me though. Why would you say that?
Because I'm like 6'4". It's like
is he gonna wink at the camera?
Alright, right. You're like 5'6" foot, right?
I think I need to go. Oh yeah, 6 foot.
Yeah, I guess so. As Brian said, I've known Brian since middle school, since 7th grade. right?
Yeah,
CT, like I said, I ain't meet him, but I saw him in sport management class, and then we saw him in person like last year. I've known Brandon from hooping with Marlboro Mustangs.
Hey man, it's a pattern going on here.
It's about
where you gonna be at?
Hey.
When we first meet?
About 10 years.
When we first meet?
Dang. It was on basketball court, man.
Was that 10 or 11 you? I can't remember.
I don't know. I know I was backup point guard. I wasn't locked in.
Nah.
I always had been like one of the best dribblers, but he was skinnier than me. Not him, but the point guard was skinnier than me.
Julian.
So he got the PT. I was last in every suicide, so...
Nah, the form was the same though.
They couldn't put me in there. Yeah, throwing the ball.
The form was the same.
The form was the same until today. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
It took me 12 years to realize. Today. Well, here's the thing. I've never recorded myself playing basketball.
That's right.
So you watch somebody online or you watch somebody on the TV and you shoot and you be like, oh, I probably shoot like them.
I think it was like 7th grade. Like, I saw myself play on somebody else's record. They, like, uploaded to YouTube. But I was like, oh, we played. Like, it was, like, a school game. And I, like, saw it. And it was, like, so jarring. I think that was the point when I was just, like...
When you gotta change it.
I got locked in.
When y'all showed them clips from, like, last week that we had, and I see me slunching over like that and then throwing the ball... I mean, sometimes it was going in,
because somebody else telling you ain't gonna do it the same as the video.
No, it's not. Yeah, but it's not. It's like
seeing yourself in that light can be a little.
Yeah.
What you mean by that light?
I looked big, like I just be slipping over whenever I play basketball.
Well, clearly he didn't like what he saw. That's my point.
I've been telling him that.
I think
what I see from him on the court.
think the defense.
But sometimes when you see all right.
But when you see it,
I think the defense was more jarring than anything rather than the shot. I knew I was straining to throw that ball up there because I'd be far away, and I knew I had to fix that. But on the defense, I was like, dang, like I'm not straight up. So
me neither.
Now I feel like I'm a little more straight up. But we can go to the next question.
Jalen wanted to go.
My fault.
You gotta tell me.
I love hoop talk.
He's the OG, man.
I mean, if you're, it's fine.
He's the.
I met Nate. The first time I met Nate in person was at State Union, but you helped me over the year. For school.
Redacted. We might want to bleep this out.
We don't need.
The degree's already on the way. I don't care.
If any of us talk about schoolwork, it's all redacted.
Man, I'm not gonna talk about
my degree is redacted.
This is hilarious.
I forgot how we.
Bro, you're.
I guess so.
I don't know. He's the original node to this tree. You know.
You. So you're the root node.
Yeah, you're the root node of this tree. Everything comes from you.
Could be Brian.
I feel like it was
no, because you was adding people. But you was adding people.
No, I was definitely recruiting for the
yeah, for the league.
Because when we was talking about like how like I would like
it's either me or JJ.
Like a sales assignment. I remember like sometimes like me and him we would FaceTime call and he would like join at like the last minute, and like sometimes he'd just be like, "Oh fuck, I don't care." Like how do you like how often do you like turn shit in late? Because I'm thinking like,
bro. No, I'm gonna be honest. I had 3 jobs. I had 3 jobs the last year when it was like COVID and it was online.
Yeah.
I would leave. I would get off of work in Oxnard. I live in Upper Marlboro. I would leave from work at 12 o'clock and have class at 12:30. And I would just drive, and I would work that morning from 7 a.m. to noon. Yeah. And I would go and I would have class from 2 to 5. Fall semester when I worked at Nike and Arundel Mills, 40 minutes away, I would work from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and have class from 3 to 10. I would send emails to my teacher. I wouldn't even send emails. I would just turn the assignments like 4 or 5 in the morning. Yeah. Because I think the teachers was understanding that, like, I'm still getting it in like the same day, kinda. Yeah. If it was like 2-3 days late, maybe I understand. But at a certain point, I was like, bro, if I'm not getting this degree off CS, then I'm not getting it. I'm gonna try my hardest, but bills gotta be paid. Yeah. I gotta have a place to stay. I was an RA. Yeah, but I had to be an RA, things like that, to fund my schooling. So. Yeah. If I would have had to switch majors, I feel like I still would have got the degree for anything. But I used to set ultimatums. We was in a Calc 2 class. Nah. I told Jay in the Calc 2 class, I said, if I fail Calc 2, I'm just not about to do it again. It's no reason to put myself through so much turmoil.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If you took that again, I still don't think
I wasn't gonna take it again. I wasn't gonna. It's no point because if I had a 47, I'm not going to a 70. Not in Calc 2.
Did he pass him?
Yeah, he passed us. I don't know if he had like a 51 or something, but I had a 47.
I was slightly above. I can tell you what he passed. I think he passed it because COVID started right during that semester.
Yeah, it was like right in the middle, but I think he also passes because people were still leaving during COVID. We got to the last final, and I remember that Zoom. Yeah. It was like 12 of us in there. Oh. And we started at like 40 kids.
It was like the room was packed.
So I think he just passed her. And I noticed that about a lot of CS classes. People would just leave.
They just leave.
And they just won't come back. And I'll be in there. I'll send the teacher like, man, you changed my life. I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for you. I know it's only like 10 or 12 of us left. I really try my hardest. I've gotten like 20s and 30s on midterms and then got like 85s and 90s, which still might not have been enough to pass. But they saw me and it was like, okay.
They saw you trying.
One dude was like, I need an average of a 60 on this last class. And I got a 40 on the midterm and I got a 57 on the final. But he said the second half of the class is harder than the first one. And I saw, like, he saw the progression in all my quizzes and stuff, and he passed me, so that's usually what they be doing, especially in, like, the CS stuff. If you put in the work for real, they going.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't go to work. They just switch to IT.
Oh, man. Redacted.
Nah, leave that in there.
Leave that in.
That's how UNB too. They switch to information science.
I mean, if you do it and you get the certs and you get code, then it's basically the same major. But I like a structured approach, so I wanna get my information from the school. I'll suffer in the school and have worse grades. I got the thinking. I know how to think well now. You teach me Java 4 years. I should redacted that whole school for real, because you could have just told me Python. But what? Neither here nor there. All right, next question.
All right, Caleb next.
All right, next question comes from Deja OX and K Katie. Who idea was it to start the podcast and why?
Oh well.
Wasn't it probably JG or Nate? One of them two.
Well,
I think they kept bringing it up.
A second.
We talked about like making a podcast, but I feel like you and Caleb at one point were literally like the ones that like really locked it in.
Okay, so yeah, we would have like conversations in our group chat, and we would be like, "This can be like good stuff for a podcast if we started." But then Brian and Caleb, I feel like y'all were the main ones that actually knew how to really start one.
Got the ball.
But we were just talking about it.
Yeah,
none of us really know how to start a podcast.
I guess.
Well, me and Caleb had a podcast in high school.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Christian, you did have a podcast.
Me and Caleb,
I was
from the Arc Sports. You know, we had a podcast.
What was it?
But from the Arc Sports.
Okay.
I think it was one
Only
episode.
on SoundCloud. You may have been.
Yeah,
But,
I'm gonna check it out.
I do want to say about the podcast. We didn't want to start. Well, I don't want to say we, but OG really was adamant about not starting until he didn't want to do it virtual, and he wanted us to have a place to do it. And everybody was at separate school. Well, not all of us. Nate was at a separate school, and he didn't want to do it on Zoom. We wanted to have a central location with good camera equipment, decent enough mics, decent enough phone to record, decent enough laptop to record, stuff like that. And so we didn't want to like
Rush it.
We didn't want to rush into it. So we wanted to make sure we was giving a good effort. And we're all home for the summer for, however long until, people are going into their careers. And so we felt like this was really the perfect time to like be serious about it. Because we was talking, we wasn't really serious.
For a minute,
We been talking about podcasts for at least 2 years.
Yeah, for a good minute.
2 years?
Yeah, I feel like it was a few months, because I know, like JG said, people would bring it up like, yeah, this would be great to start a podcast.
Someone will always be like after like a good comment, like, man, this would have been a good like podcast.
And then
especially the way we argue in group chat, especially Brandon and Sports Fan, the way people argue in that group chat, it just needs to be on camera.
For real.
I was thinking we should have. I was thinking about it, but like a podcast, not in terms of like the sports. I was thinking about us three as like a division of it, because I was like, we could talk about like Black in Tech, or just bring people on to like learn about it, just because it's a different perspective. You don't really get many people like that, and just anywhere. Exactly. So, but then it don't have to just be that.
That's what I'm saying.
Just be in careers, things like that.
But that's the thing about the podcast. Like the thing is, we have it where we say sports entertainment. Like it can literally branch out into anything. That's
really why we wanted to do after hours. I had mentioned after hours before we started, and it's taken us a couple episodes. But we did want to like kind of get a decent enough following, but we get a decent amount of questions where we could talk to y'all, talk about the stuff y'all want to hear about. And not
that
just,
doesn't have to pertain to what's being told about,
and not just cover sports all the time.
Because all of us are like really multifaceted. So I feel like if we can get like in this case we have like a mailbag of questions, like we can all bring on different perspectives on certain things. So
so I think just to wrap it up, kind of like everybody was kind of bringing up the idea of a podcast. I think Nate really got the ball rolling for real, because he was always like, all right, like when do we really want to get this settled? Then me and Caleb went from there, like trying to structure it,
and in addition, I mean, this can all go on everybody's resumes. It's all experience in a different way.
That's true.
We got production, we got video, we got editing,
social media management.
I just made flyers. Like it really is like different things for different things.
Exactly. Don't forget the logo.
The logo comes tomorrow.
Exactly. So it's
tomorrow. Right now. Tomorrow is it? It's almost done.
At the end of the day, we all got interesting personalities that needs to be seen by the public.
Absolutely.
And I knew that through the group chat. Because like I said, I ain't never met Nate before. But by the way he was talking about basketball, I knew this was an interesting person.
You had to meet him.
Had to.
I gotta meet this man.
He's a funny guy. I gotta meet him.
Come on. So, I just feel like we all, the way we discuss and conversate in that group chat, I felt like a lot of that stuff just needed to be on camera and in a podcast format.
For sure.
Especially when we pick a side in the group chat and how strong we believe in some of the sides.
We don't go as strong as we do in the group chat.
Everybody here like really funny. Like in their own way. Like there'll be times I'll just be reading like stuff in our chat. I was just like, nah.
Some
I
people
was hollering.
funnier than others.
I'll be reading, so I'll be hollering.
He said...
He said he's gonna get it. He said he's gonna get it in there. He said he's gonna get it in there.
I was about to say something like intelligent, like be serious and be like intelligent too. Like
we got we got.
Y'all be saying y'all points and backing them up. There's only one point I ever heard where it just didn't make no sense, and that was in terms of like tanking. But other than that,
you're not letting that shit go. You're not letting that shit go.
Other than that, every single point, it feel legitimate on anybody.
We can honestly have one whole episode. Just I want. We're gonna talk about.
Hey man, we got the off season for that. We got the off season for that.
Even then, like that just shows like how adamant we are, and like how strong we are to hold on to our points. Like even Brian, he had a really like we ain't even gonna talk. He had a really bad basketball take.
That I gave up, by the way.
But I
admitted I was wrong.
It's back-to-back years, mind you. He had to write notes.
You held that until they was in the finals.
Right. No, I didn't. I gave it up once we went up 3-0 on the Nets. That's why I gave it up.
Okay,
that's still
we're not going to continue this conversation.
He was in the wait, real quick.
No. You're lying.
Because he was like, just so we can lose to the Bucks.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said, bro. That's not what I said. Come on, bro. Hey, find the receipt. Find the receipt.
This is back-to-back years. You have to write notes about how you had to got your takes.
He said Chris Middleton.
You hate on Chris Middleton. We're gonna talk about that.
We'll have an episode about that for my bad takes. Okay.
Well,
next question. Not Nate. Caleb. My bad, Caleb.
All right. This question comes from Fat Mike 1017. Who's the most knowledgeable or smartest person on the podcast, and who would y'all say is the funniest person on the podcast?
The way y'all raise your hands.
I mean, I gotta be.
I'm sure your hands.
Can I answer? I think it's depending on sports, really. I felt like me and Brian and Christian know more about football and stuff like that, but then Brandon, Nate would know about soccer, and then I feel like y'all would know more about basketball than me.
See, my whole argument is just about versatility because, like, I do NFL, NBA, MLB, college basketball, college football. College football and the WNBA.
I say you're most versatile.
You for WWE as well.
So what?
WWE as well.
Yeah.
If we want to count that as a sport,
no, we about to embarrass on the WWE shit.
What you talking about?
But we ain't gonna talk about that.
What we talking about?
I just want to say
most knowledge.
I say you the most.
I just want to say real quick.
I
don't know if y'all saw it, but Fat Mike was on a podcast recently with some people from UMD. It's called Curb Talk. Y'all should give it a listen. It's like really good. Yeah.
Oh, good shout out.
Fat Mike.
Curb Talk. Tell me your
podcast.
He has
good name too.
Yeah. But the funniest, right?
Yeah, the funniest.
So I'm gonna let y'all decide. What do you think?
He said knowledgeable. I thought he was talking about
I think most of us would say.
I'm assuming.
I would say most of us would say Brandon. But
I say JG. I say
JG. Brandon isn't purposely funny.
I think Brandon just says the dumbest shit he can think to his mind. It ends up being funny.
It's between Brandon and JG for me. Yeah, but I'd probably give JG the edge because like he doesn't try to be funny.
Give him the edge.
I try to be funny.
Nah,
really
Brandon, you have said some things for attention. For
like what?
Oh, like that. No. Never say anything for last?
No. I'd be serious for real.
You say Jordan Poole was gonna drop 47 wasn't for last?
No, that wasn't wild. That wasn't wild.
That was a serious.
Jordan Poole dropping 47 was not wild.
Who in the crowd?
Woman.
Alright, I'm just saying.
It wasn't really any heat there, so we really can't tell for real.
No, I'm trying.
The heat they was trying.
It depends who in the crowd.
Like the heat that Bleacher Report was showing.
The craziest thing is you probably shouldn't say it.
Yeah, you're right. I probably shouldn't.
I haven't said nothing too
It's
great.
okay. It's okay.
knowing that it was wrong, when you say certain things, you expect to get removed.
Yeah.
That's why I'm gonna leave it at that.
I
You
just
know what I'm talking about.
I just need something.
We're not getting it on the podcast.
You know
I guess y'all talk about me calling the hot dogs.
Are we gonna talk about that? Can you talk about that?
Yes, we can talk about that.
Hey man,
You call hot dogs grown men.
No.
No. Say the sentence, the exact sentence he said. Man, I ain't had it.
He said, "Man, I ain't having grown men in a minute." Can you explain why you said that?
No. All right. So back in high school. No. Real quick. Back in high school, we was about to graduate seniors. They was catching on the wave. Everybody was catching on the glizzy wave, right? So I felt like it was just getting taken like gentrified for real. You know, we had a lot of different names. You know, so it really transitioned into Glick. Sometimes I like to use Glock. You know, and,
Right, okay.
You know.
So how did you get to?
Grown man.
Yeah.
It wasn't me that started it. It was somebody in high school. I don't recall who it was, but it had a little ring to
So
it.
let me understand. You heard it and said, "Yeah, I can use this."
Yes, but I wasn't using it for myself. I was using it in terms of somebody else. So let's say they got one. Like for example, we would call a grown man the hot dog that would hang off the edges from 7-Eleven.
All right, next question. Next question.
Next question, bro. This is exactly what I'm talking about, man.
Hold on. We're gonna talk about knowledgeable and not knowledge me though. That's crazy.
Knowledgeable?
About basketball?
Yeah,
but he said on the podcast.
You need to tell me why. I want you
So
to
I think you're the most knowledgeable.
You get paid.
So Jalen, I will say this: you're the most knowledgeable about basketball. That was not the question that was asked.
About life?
I would honestly go to Morgan for life advice.
Man, hold on.
Hold on. You want to move away?
Your life might be over.
Why are you surprised about that?
See, Jalen got good life advice, but I feel like, I feel like the quartet of y'all. No offense, kid. No offense, Chris. But like the quartet of y'all, like I would go to any of y'all about certain things. So I wouldn't say that I would go strictly to JB about life advice.
JB makes no sense. He did graduate the first of all of us.
Yeah.
I would not go to Spooky J about life. I'm sorry. About life?
You don't trust my life experience?
You don't trust my life experience?
Why not?
Man,
I came out the gutter, man. Come on.
I'm talking about you.
Wait. Knowledgeable about basketball in what sense? You talking about like just the game in general?
Oh no.
Well,
I think it might be us three right here because they don't really be talking about
on the court.
Jalen's
No, this is another group chat discussion.
Are you saying you know more basketball than
No, I'm saying that you have a better.
man,
that you talk about the eye test more than Jalen.
the gravity. When you talk about the gravity,
y'all talking about the NBA. I'm talking about when you on the court playing basketball. Man, I think my mind is there.
You think?
I think
the difference is I don't execute it like you do. I see the same stuff you be talking.
There it is.
I see it.
I think I see the game, but I suck. I think it's really, no, because I'm not about to go into the rebounds too much, but for real. But if like when you see the ball go up there and
like Dennis Rodman.
What are you, Dennis Rodman?
No, but me being oftentimes me being the smallest person on the court, some of them things not really supposed to happen for real. Oftentimes.
All the time?
Not all the time.
You see when you're rebounding today? Because they was not rebounding today.
So Chris, I will say this.
They wasn't,
Hold on, he about to give me my...
So I don't think I'm as knowledgeable as, say, you or JB. Even because as we've seen on, like, previous episodes, like, you guys have been able to talk the game. Like, I try to talk the game with y'all, like, talk about certain terms, but, like, y'all understand how the game flows a little.
Like drop coverage.
I think DeMar knows this.
I was bring that up. That's when
when I talk, like, because when I be talking hoops a lot, because I be watching like a lot of like film, like especially like I'll just like watch back games, but then I'll also be watching like some YouTube channels where like they break down play by play and they be talking.
Yeah, for sure.
B-ball breakdown, man.
Not even B-ball breakdown, but there's like people on Twitter that like the breaks. I don't know if there's this guy named he's a journalist, but he like really knows. It's called like Macias, and he'll like break.
Smith.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll just be like tuned to stuff like that, and I realize like over the couple of years, I'll just like when I'm talking hoops with people, I'll say stuff like. You'll probably know this, but I'll say like DHO or ATL is like stuff that like
their terminology.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
ahead of mine.
That's what I'm saying. Like we
if
talk
they
about
to describe it to me.
You already like is this a dribble handoff? ATL like at a timeout.
After timeout.
Yeah, so it's just like stuff like that. Like I really like watching hoops. Like I just like watching like plays and like breaking down and like just seeing like how the game flows.
Yeah,
and you know that because he's a scout.
So that's what I was trying to say. Like in terms of like knowing the actual like terms and knowing the actual game, because y'all actually break down film and y'all understand what you're talking about.
Yeah,
that's where I know I'm not knowledgeable. But like I try to see it from like I usually see it from either a fan perspective, try to analyze it a little bit. So like I look at it that way, so it's not the same. So that's why I'd say like you three would be more knowledgeable about basketball than me.
Was you watching the Mega Mozart games back in the day?
Can we go to
All right, so
Next question.
Hey man, the knowledge. I be watching the international games for like I really be sitting down and
So
watching.
what international prospects have you seen?
No, please.
That could be a whole episode.
I was gonna say in the past.
If y'all sitting here saying that's going to be a whole episode, I rest my case. So we can go into the next question.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next question then. All right, it's just from I'm not gonna pronounce this. KXYY2X. It's for specifically Brian. Why does many people watch the WNBA? How impactful was Kobe when it comes to the WNBA gaining more popularity?
Why is it not gaining more popularity?
And how impactful was Kobe's death when it came to the WNBA gaining more popularity?
How was Kobe influential for the WNBA?
Ooh. Do you want to answer the Kobe
for
thing?
the Kobe thing? Like I think his influence on the women's games, I think that it's definitely there. I don't know about the WNBA specifically. I think it did a lot for like youth girls basketball per se. Well, actually, I don't know because Sabrina Ionescu was like a Kobe disciple, and I feel like she definitely got a lot of like, I guess like popularity, especially on social media when like there was those photos of her working out with Kobe, and she spoke at his funeral, which is I think like really says a lot about their relationship. So I think he was an ambassador for the WNBA, but like I think his legacy on the women's game is gonna be more like youth girls ball, more than the WNBA per se.
So I would say to me, the biggest reason why the WNBA isn't more popular is because they're marketing their game to the wrong people. Like I think they should try to market more to women. Not saying that women don't support, because most of WNBA Twitter, and most of the fans in the stands. But I say because most of WNBA Twitter and most of the fans in the stands are women. So I'm not saying that women don't support the WNBA. I'm just saying that I think that the WNBA tries to market their game to men, and the problem with that is most men are not going to pay attention to the WNBA the way they pay attention to the NBA. Because when they pay attention to the WNBA, they're looking more at what the players look like than the actual content and the actual like flow of the game. Now, I believe women obviously would pay more attention just to strictly the game itself. And I believe that if you're marketing like certain products like that women would actually like go and pay for it, like I believe that you would get a better showing because you'd be like, hey, I've seen them in this commercial, this endorsement, things of that nature. So I think that's why we've seen a little bit of an uprising because they've been more on TV and they've been starting to market more to people. But I just think they haven't marketed the game as well to women as the NBA has to men, I guess I would say.
Also,
I'd like to add the WNBA. I believe is roughly 20-ish years old.
Right.
Yeah. And I think they just celebrated 25th. Yeah. And I think that needs to be taken into consideration more when people try to compare this new league, which is the WNBA, to the NBA, which is celebrating their 75th year of existence. But the thing with the WNBA and it being a new league, and the NBA isn't that good at this either recently, is that they're not great at creating stars for the media. And you can compare this to WWE and wrestling. A lot of the stuff that WWE it's fake fighting. But the main thing that they do is try to create and cultivate stars that people will actually like believe can fight real fighters. And the stuff that I think the WNBA has certain names that they may not market the right way. And I don't follow the sport enough, but I've known the same WNBA names from 10 years ago, and I don't know enough of the new names to the point where I feel like they're marketing the right way. Because I grew up on Diana Taurasi, Tina Charles, Sylvia Fowles, Sue Bird, and the more recent stars have been coming in the league and they've been doing their thing, but a lot of them don't have that popularity because they may not look the right way for the people who they, like he said, the men who they want to view, or maybe they're not as active on social media as these other top stars. But the WNBA was really at its peak during like the early to mid 2000s, and so a lot of those names who are still playing are still big names. And I think losing a name, well, I don't know because I don't know if her career is done, but losing Maya Moore really did a lot of damage to the WNBA because Maya Moore at UConn was easily one of the biggest names in sports in general. Everybody knew her at UConn because she was on those teams that was on that winning streak. I don't remember the amount of games.
Yeah.
But Maya Moore was the biggest name in women's basketball at some point because people could watch her game and just appreciate how good of a basketball player she was, not even considering gender, which is what a lot of people aren't doing when watching women's basketball. So a lot of it isn't just on the WNBA. It comes on a lot of the fans as well. A lot of the fans have to do better in evaluating and watching the game and not watching the game for a player they find attractive and instead watching the game to truly appreciate the game that you're watching. Because a lot of the WNBA basketball is a better product than high school basketball. It's just that people aren't dunking, so it's not as entertaining for some people who are simply looking for highlights all the time.
It's definitely great to watch.
For people, I was gonna say for people who like really like the game of basketball, like
exactly.
The WNBA is a great product to like watch
from a fundamental standpoint.
From a fundamental standpoint, like offensively, they're so like what's the word? They're so like consistent and strict. Like in the NBA, if an offensive like set breaks down, it just turns into basketball with the shot clock running down. Where it's like the WNBA, like in offices, like they'll run their set and it's like, oh, what they're looking for isn't gonna go. Like we got a second option, we got a third option. Like they're, I don't know. I think like if you really love basketball, then you should watch the WNBA because it's like it's great in terms of like the actual game itself.
And I think what were you gonna say?
On that 25 years thing as well, I think looking at the last 25 years, comparing how its inception versus like if we talk about the first 25 years of the NBA and how it got bigger, everybody was like just getting TVs into their homes, and like that was the thing. I think with a lot of things with the WNBA to make it more lucrative as well is just creating better short form content also, because our attention span is done. Like as humans, I don't even sit down and watch NBA games for a full time. Yeah, I'm not sitting down and watching NBA games. Only NBA games I'm watching is if Jonathan Isaac is playing. If that's not the case, I'm really not watching a full game. Or unless I was watching with y'all, like I wasn't really like watching full games. So
can we just talk about how crazy that sounds?
No, but
Jonathan Isaac been out for a year.
But I think also I haven't watched the game for like a year, 2 years. But then again as well, it's like I'd be going to movie theaters and people can't even sit through a movie without checking their phone, things like that. And that's a place where it's supposed to be like forbidden.
Did you watch the recent Jonathan Isaac's?
No.
No.
Only the games. I only appreciate the art,
not the player. Oh.
Yeah, just the art.
That's not the person.
Yeah, but my thing for that is that I really think we need to take that into account, because if you look at NBA views as well, like these ones were a little bit up. But in comparison to what they used to be when everybody had their set-top box TV in the home, phones weren't that really prominent as they used to be, and you're like creating a league that has about 1.5 to 2 hour games. It's just gonna be a little bit harder naturally. So I think creating better short-form content will naturally draw someone in. Like if you see a good movie trailer, you're naturally gonna want to see the movie, and I think they have to create it in that way as well.
Yeah, but like what Brian said, they need to market the stars, but that's really how the NBA really came big. Yeah, especially during the '80s.
Yeah,
Magic and Bird, and then with follow with Michael.
It's no reason Breonna Stewart isn't like one of the biggest names.
See, I was gonna touch on that point because I was gonna say
I don't know who that is.
Kind of like how you said Maya Moore with UConn. Like it seemed like, and they kind of touched on it in the Dream On 30 for 30, where it was like obviously ESPN was in Connecticut, so like UConn was gonna be like the big. The
they also had like a 7-year streak as well.
I mean, I'm gonna get to that, but like when they were first coming up, like when Rebecca Lobo was still in school, like in the '90s, like that's when like UConn and ESPN kind of rose together. But it seemed like, and it's unless you're like a Sabrina Ionescu or somebody like that, like if you don't go to UConn, maybe South Carolina, Tennessee, Tennessee with Pat Summitt, absolutely. South Carolina now with Dawn Staley. Sometimes Baylor. And then like maybe Notre Dame, but that was like really because that was mostly because they had Skylar Diggins, I would think. So like unless you're like a talented star, like you're probably not getting marketed like that. And I think that's another thing with like men's college basketball, that you're not getting those top tier stars, so you're not getting as much attention.
And I will say this, for the WNBA, the college game has 2 of the potential biggest names for the women's sport.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure there's more, but almost
everybody, they got three.
Everybody knows Paige Beckers. Everybody knows her NIL deal challenges most male players. And then in Iowa, is it Iowa? Or Iowa?
Yeah, Iowa.
Caitlin Clark is an amazing basketball player.
Yeah, one more.
UConn.
No, I was gonna say for South Carolina.
Oh, I was gonna say Ozzie Fudd from.
Oh, okay. That's yeah. So Ozzie Fudd. I was gonna say Aaliyah Boston because she's like potentially projected to be the number one.
And I was the WNBA. Be shameless.
She was at the game.
When Caitlin Clark gets drafted, I want to see every Steph Curry comparison. Be shameless because people are gonna talk about it, and that's how you generate views. Caitlin Clark compared to Steph Curry. What can you say wrong?
Paige Beckers. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah. Anyways, next question.
I like to get my point.
You talking about Paige Buckets?
Yeah.
I know her. I mean,
go ahead, JB.
I think the biggest thing is that people kind of see the WNBA and NBA as competition, but we have to remember that
that's a good point.
That's not the case. I mean, I don't want to use the word sister league, but that's essentially what it is. And most time when you have sister companies, they are less lucrative, less famous or popular as the parent company, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with G League. Like most people don't even know, even in my work experience, most people in the area don't even know about the Capital City Go-Go. And they're here in the same city, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's one factor that goes into it. I think every point you guys made is something I thought of.
Yeah.
In terms of like the Magic Johnson, Larry Bird thing. I don't know any specific rivalries, whether team or individual.
Asia versus Brianna is probably the closest, and that's because of their South Carolina UConn days. And that's probably the closest.
We can also talk about like you said, the longevity of it to cultivate team rivalries, player rivalries, right? So no,
franchises change so often. Too.
There's been a lot of player movement ever since that CBA, like with the contracts expanding. So that's a thing.
It's a high turnover rate.
Yeah, because like people were like Candace moving from LA. Elena moving from Chicago to Washington, Chelsea Gray and everybody moving over to Vegas, kind of making that kind of feel like a super team. Seattle Storm having their kind of super team as well. Continue.
I think this is a little unfortunate. We just came off with the 5th year anniversary of
Title IX.
Title IX. Thank you. I forgot the last. Yeah. Title IX about last week, I believe.
Yeah.
But just to be frank, a lot of men still don't take women's sports seriously. Yeah. That's a big thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't want to shameless plug, but working for the Mystics, being at the games, I see that this is a good fan base. Fans come out and they come out, they show their full support. But seeing the arena, it's not it can't contain. No, it can't contain. It doesn't allow for a lot of fans, I'll say. And that's of course due to the money, different deals and things of that nature for sponsorships and things like that. But there's enough backing behind these teams, behind these sport, that maybe we can expand the fan base of each of these teams and cities, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like it's gonna take a while because, like you said, the first 25 years, like the NBA almost collapsed on itself.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I think the first 25 years have been well. It has a lot more to go, a lot longer to go. It's a bright future for you guys, right? I think it just takes people being able to sit down and watch games. Like when I tell people, okay, I was at Towson, I worked with the women's basketball team, I played against the women's basketball players. Being around this talent is really no different. Exactly. I promise you. I feel like a lot of casual fans, which are most fans, right? Most fans aren't that knowledgeable about the game. Right. Yeah, they say stuff like that. Like, bro, you don't even know. Like, they dogging. And another CT's point, lots of fans love threes, dunks, which are most exciting, like highlights, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't see that many dunks when it comes to WNBA.
The game is still pretty athletic.
It's still athletic.
I know what you're saying. I'm just saying the game's still pretty athletic because some of their finishes at the rim be
nice, right? But for those who just look at that and say, okay, I'm enamored. Like people love Aaron Gordon. People know Aaron Gordon, know Zach LaVine, off the strength of their athleticism and dunks, right?
Yeah.
You don't really have no WNBA players like that, right? So it's just little things like that, little differences when it comes.
The game is evolving though.
It is for sure.
Absolutely.
Fran Believy.
Yeah, she had a few
Stanford, right?
Yeah. Brittany Griner started, she was one of
the
pioneers.
Yeah, she was. Her, Lisa Leslie, Candace Parker, I think the first. Yeah, the first. But I will say this before we move on. The WNBA history, it's no reason. I think the Houston Comets, I usually get the Sports Illustrated magazine.
Yeah, I was going to.
The Houston Comets won 4 championships, and then the organization folded on itself somehow.
Because of money issues.
If you're and I think some of this responsibility falls on the NBA.
Absolutely.
The NBA, they're already putting money into the WNBA. But if you have a potential historic franchise, the Houston Comets, I don't want to, compare the leagues too much, but the Houston Comets, the run they were on, they could have potentially been the modern day Boston Celtics with that Bill Russell 11 championship run. But if a team wins 4 championships, I still think I think they still have one of the most championships in WNBA history. And the organization hasn't been around since I think the mid 2000s. And so I think the NBA has to do better in making sure those type of situations don't happen. Because if a team that is that successful is folding under itself because the league is underfunded, I think you just have to put more money into it. And the NBA is making plenty of money, and that's come on now.
Yeah, so really quick before JG goes, I just wanted to say I'm very interested to see, because the league was talking about expansion. I'm really interested to see what the two cities are going to be, because it would be great to see them bring back Houston and have that legacy there. So I'm very interested to see what the two cities are going to be.
When they say they want to expand like that?
I think they said by 2024 probably.
Okay. I was just looking at the drafts prior to the last 2 years, and it's interesting to see a lot of players that was drafted like really highly. They're not even in the league no more. Right. So it's
and that's another thing. Roster expansion should be a thing. Roster expansion should be a thing too, because I think they should have like the NBA. You should have 15 players, because a lot of people get signed on these hardship contracts, and then they're only there for about a week, and then once people come overseas or are no longer hurt, then they're getting cut, and then they have to go find another team. So I think that expansion, both roster-wise and team-wise, could help the league potentially.
And you gotta lose money to make money, and like the NBA's been, the WNBA's been losing money, but it's really a drop in the bucket for the NBA if they're funding them. Exactly. Like honestly, you gotta throw a lot of money into there. Like you gotta throw it into the ads and everything. And it's like,
absolutely.
I'm not gonna see it if you throwing $5 million here, $10 million here. That's just not the game anymore. That's not the thing anymore. You aren't, like you said, the NIL deal that's rivaling men's players. I know who that is. And I feel like that's not on accident. Like that I know that player, but I don't know many stars in the WNBA. And it almost correlates directly with the compensation basically being the same in terms of like on an amateur level, because they're considered amateur in college.
I know we all follow like different sports channels, pages, on all different types of social media. Still, the WNBA is rarely marketed. So
the more exposure, the better for sure. I think that, and then the one final thing from the start point. The number one pick this year, Ryan Howard. She is in both Rookie of the Year and honestly MVP conversations. And I'm sure most of the people on this podcast probably haven't even heard of her.
I only know because she went to Kentucky.
Yeah,
but
that's that right there. Like she went 4 years. She was a top tier player. She went to the Atlanta Dream. She was a top tier player in college. Now Kentucky wasn't the greatest, so I can't blame her. I can't blame the exposure she got completely. But again, that goes back. I think that goes back a little bit to the college game, because as Brandon said, he knew about Paige, knew about her NIL stuff. But somebody like Ryan Howard was not being marketed as much, even though she was a top tier player.
But I think that point goes against the WNBA as well, because I've seen a lot of stuff on the timeline related to the WNBA, especially recently.
Yeah.
But if you're saying Ryan Howard is having a Rookie of the Year type season and a potential, you don't want to say she's the MVP, but if she's playing at that type of level, and I haven't seen one highlight of Ryan Howard, what are we doing? It's like I follow.
Like you gotta be deep in the WNBA.
I follow almost every major sports page on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of that, and I haven't seen a single Ryan Howard highlight. And I'm not saying they're not out there, but they need to do a better job of putting money in to sponsor these tweets, push these Instagram posts, the Reels, TikToks, so that you have a potential star on your hands, and that she's not going under the radar like you have had for the last few years with the other stars in the league.
Great question.
Next. All right, we're going to do a few more, Caleb.
All right, next question. Let's have fun with it. From Trench Made, who will win the fight out of all y'all?
Who you got?
Oh, who's winning in a fight?
Between...
I don't think none of y'all can.
All of us?
Oh, so all of us? Oh.
He said, oh.
Man, what is this?
None of us are really fighters.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't stop anybody else.
Is this like
I'm gonna say me. Let me be clear. I'm gonna say me just because I ain't going like that. But none of us really like fighters though. Brandon, you a fighter?
I feel so. This is what this is how I'm gonna answer it. This is how I'm gonna answer it. As Bomani Jones will say, it's probably gonna come down to 1-2 that day for any of us. So that would be my answer. It's gonna come down to who.
I did a stint of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but other than that,
next question.
See, this is what we talking about. That's
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
You don't know about that now?
I did the MMA class once.
I'm gonna take Bill Belly.
So one by one, what's your favorite Calypso flavor?
hell yeah. Good question. Yeah.
We're gonna break
so
the
this
mic.
gonna be quick. We're gonna start with JJ.
You got Island Wave Lemonade. That's the best one.
Thank you for the question. We gonna get a sponsorship. Oh my bad. We getting a sponsorship. Thank you for that question.
Come on, Calypso. Sponsor us, bro.
Pineapple Peach Lemonade is my favorite.
Brandon.
I would probably say Island Wave, but I will say I was at the liquor store about 2 days ago, and they had a half and half. Hey man, it wasn't ice cold, but I think you put that joint ice cold and you bring it out that fridge/freezer, that might be one. It's very sneaky. It's very underrated. I've never seen it before. I usually am a Calypso connoisseur. I'll go to different places to see, and I've never seen it before. So I might have to keep hitting up the liquor stores because they might have a secret stash for it.
You're actually in talks with Calypso about getting a new flavor. So stay tuned.
I love lime.
Look. I'll create.
For mine, me and Brandon were the first two here to really be on the Calypso wave. It's really amazing to see how far this is. Brandon is deeper into it than I am, but I always have Calypso
borderline
on my
diabetic.
list. Shout out to mom. But my favorite is Island Wave Lemonade, but just to be different, because I feel like a lot of us agree on Island Wave Lemonade. I love Southern Peach Lemonade as well.
Southern Peach, man. Oh my goodness.
Shout out to Food Line for always keeping that in stock as well.
All right, Nate,
I've only had 2 flavors, but I'll probably go Southern Peach lemonade. It's either that or strawberry lemonade.
You've been at the mainstream sites, though. I understand.
His favorite
I will.
blue.
No, don't say blue.
Don't blue. That's the blue.
That'll kill you. That's diabetes. Straight sugar. That blue and then that red.
Blue kind of hits sometimes.
That dark blue and that dark red. Oh yeah, coming straight off the court. If I didn't play the whole day, then I get the dark blue. But I will say this: I'll make a guide for PG County, on Apple Maps, and I'll send it out where all the Calypso spots is at for real. So no, it's not blowing the spot up. Everybody can eat because honestly, if we keep getting the Calypso sold, they're gonna stay in business. Because I remember a few years ago when me and Christian was really on it, they was hard to come by. It was either Food Line or it was nothing else. Now they're in the bottom row of every gas station. And Wawa just start picking them up. So if we keep making it happen, I send the guide out, let you know the locations that they at. We could be seeing them in more places,
They thought he was crazy the way he talked about the Calypso. I don't really talk about it.
Because look,
you were talking about it.
He was
sized him?
It was OC. It was
I got
OC.
in your car, you have 4 Calypso on your
it's
fucking
empty.
dashboard, bro.
Yours is empty. How I size it?
I got in the car, your Calypso
If you here tonight with the Calypso, how did I size it?
Them Calypsos in his car didn't sound crazy.
You was OC driving 100 miles per hour with the Calypso just smacking around his car.
How is it a size if you drinking it tonight?
Maybe
We all got
Calypsos are
one.
amazing.
That's not a size.
Alright.
And then what?
I will say this before we get to the next question. When we do get this, y'all can mark this down now. When we do get the we get the sponsorship from Calypso, we're gonna have Brandon and CT read.
Yeah, and last thing, you mix Calypso with 1800.
Ooh.
Go ahead, lock in, man.
Brother, we don't know if all of you is over 18.
Huh?
21.
Everybody is 21 here, so
Every 21 plus.
I've missed
Drink
Calypso.
responsibly.
18.
If you're not 21,
I missed it with
don't-
1800 Casamigos. If you want to be an alcoholic, just
Some
get
of
your.
us mix it with water.
I missed it with ginger ale. I gotta
If you're
try
over
every
the age of
experiment.
21, you can do this.
Yeah.
Man.
Do not listen.
We're going to move to basketball again. Which NBA team is the worst at keeping talent and developing talent?
The Kings.
Sacramento.
Sacramento.
Sacramento or the Knicks?
Oh, yeah, don't let me.
No, it's the Kings. It's the Kings. We can go to the next question.
Next
It's the
question.
Kings.
All right.
Wait, hold on. What you about to say, Brandon?
Los Angeles Lakers.
Why is he lying?
That's
next
stupid.
Wait.
That's so dumb.
The last 10 years, we talking about full
In life.
that's crazy.
The Los Angeles
At
Lakers.
keeping talent, they may be the best at getting talent, but I'm talking about the full life cycle of keeping the talent.
Magic Johnson and Kobe Bryant.
Keeping the.
Next question.
All right, next question,
We're
guys.
talking about generational talents here,
Next
though. That's
question.
different than
Okay.
keeping your men around. You know what I'm saying?
Next
Like,
question.
All right. So the answer is Sacramento. Next question, Ken.
All right, so is Steph Curry a top 10 player ever after winning his 4th ring and first NBA Finals MVP?
Yes.
I got him top 5.
No, wait. No.
All right, next question.
You want to talk?
We're
let it go.
not gonna have this
Okay,
argument right now.
let it go.
We'll leave that for another day
Don't
too.
pay him the attention that he wants.
We got
That's our group chat motto. Don't give Brandon the attention he
JG,
wants.
we got plenty of time to be like the mainstream media and ask if Steph is the top 10 or wherever player. I mean, we believe he's top 10, but you know what I'm saying.
That's a good question.
Had them argument. Next question, Caleb.
All right, for anybody here, has anybody ever broken your ankles?
Has anybody ever broken ankles?
Yeah.
I've broken.
As in, had my ankles broken?
I've never had my ankles broken.
I've never had mine broken, but I've never broken
I
ankles.
think we've all been shook up. I've never fell though. I've made a few to fall though. Not too many. You know, I'm not really a shifty type of player. But you know, especially when the competition level is lower, that's when I really like to get in my bag. And sometimes you can take advantage of the lower level competition.
Like to get deep in that Jan sport.
Hey,
I'm playing.
Nah, yeah. I mean, I don't like the. I don't want to say play with the ball, but you know what I mean.
Kobe food.
I don't like to be playful when it comes to basketball, but I mean, I like to be efficient in my dribbles. But I have made a couple. Well, probably one or two people fall.
Straight line drives. I feel you.
Yeah, I'm a slasher.
I feel like I think Jalen's like caught a pass before, like drove, and then somebody slipped, and somebody slipped as he like snatched.
Yeah. I done it a couple times, but I don't like to do that. I mean, it's too much. I'd rather get to the basket and just sit. Yeah. Now you,
I don't be.
You be patting them. Come on. I'm on top of the key for 10 seconds patting that joint, right?
Yeah, I've never broken anybody's ankles, but I've also never gotten ankles.
I've only done it once.
I ain't gonna say I never. I might have.
None of us are really like.
It was off a jab series. It was off a jab series too. That's what I'm mad about.
You fell off a jab?
No, I said I broke something. No, it was like I caught it and then I reversed the face up and then pump, jab, fake like that, then went. And he got. I was like, damn.
Okay.
I will say I'm an unorthodox dribbler, so no. So it's not regular the way I dribble. So a lot of people think they could like just take the ball, and I won't call it a broken ankle, but it would just be there.
Okay.
Next question.
JG can't answer.
Nah, I
can't. Next question,
Sarah, why did he do that?
I've never got many.
What state do you guys believe breeds the best overall professional players, specifically the NBA and NFL?
Which state brings the best overall players?
Which state pretty much produces the best professional sports players?
Athletes or like is there a specific
sport? It said NBA, NFL in the question.
What's specific for NBA and NFL? But you can do.
I guess we can do athletes overall.
For NFL, I'm gonna go with Texas or Cali, and then for what?
I'd say Texas or Florida for NFL.
I think Florida's on the come up.
Florida's out there.
Per capita, I'm gonna go with Maryland.
Per capita
for the NBA, probably.
No, I'm gonna do NFL too, because to only have like literally, if you look at like the numbers when it be like number of people in the league, and you comparing to states with 30 million people, 50 million people, and we got 5 million people.
If we're doing per capita, it's Virginia.
Really?
For the NFL, they had Michael Vick, Ronald Curry, Lawrence Taylor, Bruce Smith, and like
Virginia.
Plaxico Burress and like a few other players. I was watching the podcast.
If we're doing so
NBA, Allen Iverson, but I know he played basketball. But so per capita, I would say Virginia. Yeah, he played football too. So per capita, I would say Virginia, but like overall for football, Texas or Florida. Basketball, I'm gonna say Maryland.
For football and basketball, I would say Cali. It's a lot of players in the Cali.
If you're just talking numbers, I think basketball is Cali by a mile.
Yeah.
But I will say though, it's actually funny. Like we talk, obviously NBA. When you think of Cali, you think of like Russ, Harden,
Kevin Love,
DeMar DeRozan,
right?
James Harden.
You would think, especially, but it's actually funny though. It's like I don't know if this is the case. I don't know if this is the case now. I'm pretty sure.
We can't forget Dame.
But in terms of like D1 ball, the DMV produces the most D1 players.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
He's so
Fresno. Yeah, I'm about to say is PG from California.
Yeah, he is.
PG, DeMar DeRozan, Dame, all the good people.
Derek Collison.
But yeah, I don't know.
Next.
I'm gonna get
LaMelo Ball.
Next question.
Wait, why we went back to sports?
You know what
Why we went back to sports questions?
My bad.
I'm sure there are other questions that ain't sports.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Next question, Gil.
What's your favorite album of all time and why?
Album?
Man,
real quick, y'all see that Rolling Stone list? About top 200.
That might be one of the worst.
That had Invasion of Privacy at 16 and Illmatic at 22.
I will say this real quick. It's someone who's, I'm not gonna lie, someone who's who trolls about Nas a lot and talks about how like he had the.
Where is this going?
No.
I'm listening.
Okay, I was just saying that. I only said that
through my library real quick. Go ahead.
I only said that because you're comparing that to Invasion of Privacy, but No, okay. In all seriousness, Illmatic is one of like the greatest like hip hop albums of all time.
I agree.
Is there a but? Oh my
No. This isn't a but for why it's below Invasion of Privacy, but okay. First of all, let me ask y'all this: have y'all listened to Invasion of Privacy?
Yes, I heard it front to back.
It's not a bad album.
Big and Head is my favorite song.
Honestly, the reason why
you heard Big and Head?
You said what?
I did hear Big and Head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Sing the chorus.
I'm not singing.
Prove it to me.
I'll sing it.
No, but I'm just trying to say, like, especially like with a lot of like, in terms of when we look at like albums, they're pieces of art, but in the sad reality of it though is like they're also just like moments like within pop culture where you have to look at like everything else. So the reason why I can get why they put Cardi like that high up is just because the Grammy nod she got, and then also just like who she was in terms of popularity as a celebrity that year. I get why. Like, in terms of like the music itself, sure, there's an argument for that, but
if this is the case that we're making, then the heist has to be somewhere in top 20 as well. No, if this is the case that we're actually going to make about in terms of if we're talking about the moment that it has and the
isn't that crazy?
No.
Black.
No.
I get what you're saying.
Don't use that card. Don't use that card.
Invasion of Privacy went over Astroworld, and then
okay.
Ice went over.
I think Invasion of Privacy should have been over Astroworld.
It should have. I agree, but then
no. I think on the top 200 list. What I'm saying here is that if we're talking about moment in time, because honestly, if we're being serious, I couldn't go a day without hearing Thrift Shop. And then if we talking about second on the no, I'm just saying like really, and then we talk about them literally getting a heist of a Grammy. That should be on the list if we're taking that into account. My whole issue with that whole thing is that she's above every Nicki Minaj album, every Missy Elliott album, every No Name album. She's not. She has the second best. It's the second highest woman album behind The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
That's crazy.
Wow. Wait, what?
So that's it's 16 of all.
No, that's not one above it.
So it's 16 out of 200 all time. So it's not me saying, damn, she shouldn't be up here, this and that. But
they got that over like
it don't matter.
Reasonable Doubt behind Jay-Z. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
So that's what
was number one on the list?
Biggie.
I think it's supposed to be
Like
J. Cole for a second.
J. Cole was like 150.
Yeah, J. Cole.
And he only has one album on
there. But anyway,
I agree.
Drake only had one of them.
He got Take Care is like 4.
Take Care is 4?
It's top 10.
So do you?
But favorite album all time.
Favorite all time. Dang.
It's hard.
It's hard. Like it's funny. I don't know if it is a favorite, but it's like the one that's I think probably the most impressionable for me, and it's probably for a lot of people too. Like Thrillers.
Okay, that's a good one.
I say that because it's like when we talk about like singles from an album, like The Girl's Mine, Billie Jean, Thriller. Yeah. Like it's I mean, what else is on there? When We Start Something, Human Nature, Pretty Young Thing.
Dang.
Like. It might be the greatest album of all time.
Michael Jackson didn't miss it.
This is Michael Jackson.
I
don't know if he had a bad.
What else is on?
Alright, so I'm like...
Well, actually, let me just say real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Objectively, I'll say Thriller. Subjectively, because obviously, like, everybody, like, no matter what, like, the general consensus, everyone has their own opinion. I'd say... Man. Actually, come back to me.
Alright, so my favorite album... See, I'm not big on like listening to the whole albums, so like, so I'll give you the ones that I like, and then I'll give you the ones that the one that I've actually like fully listened to. So the two, so my favorite probably of the two that I've listened to, not all the way, probably All Eyes on Me.
Yes, sir.
Or
yes, sir.
I think it's Me Against the World is the other Tupac one I'm thinking of. So those two, the one that I've listened to fully, Rebel by Lecrae. That's one of like the first ones I've listened to like all the way through. So that's.
So are we only doing hip hop?
No.
Because I will say this before I get my hip hop albums out the way. Divide by Ed Sheeran was an amazing project. I will say that.
Why are you laughing?
No, because y'all are laughing. I'm so serious.
That's one of like the first things I knew about you, that you loved Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran makes amazing music.
I thought you was joking.
I
was like really singing this song.
I'm gonna be honest. That may be my favorite album of all time. Every time I'm on a road trip, I can listen to Ed Sheeran and I can take a great nap. But
you gotta work that.
That's not where I thought you was going.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. I don't need to go into Ed Sheeran, man. The people who know. And if you don't, then that's your fault. But I will say this. I was also going to say All Eyes on Me by Tupac.
Yes, sir.
There's just a lot of hits on that one.
I haven't heard it.
California Love, I love that song.
I'm glad I'm with my...
How long is the album?
And Take Care by Drake. I feel like that's an easy answer, though.
Yeah, that's a good
one.
You can go ahead.
That's good. Okay. All Eyes on Me I would say I have to give. I give about 5 because it's hard to pick one. All Eyes on Me's up there. Midnight Marauders by Tribe Called Quest up there.
What an old soul.
The Score,
Culture.
Fuji's, that's up there.
I was literally about to say that when it came back to me.
Alright, we go back to data.
I love Untitled Unmastered. That's one of my favorite ones.
The country ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's cooking right now,
Forget
man.
about that.
Yeah.
I had one more.
He's been there for most of the music.
I was alive, man. I was chilling. I was talking to.
No, we really gonna go back in time and be like, we was there for Untitled Unmastered, because that's such an old head album. Oh my goodness. To Pimp a Butterfly, we gonna be saying.
I'm scrolling really quick. I don't know if I can find it. Oh yeah. I want to make sure I get it right.
There's one.
Into the Wu-Tang, my bad.
I'm surprised. There's like one artist that I ain't mentioned. But I'm gonna say
You can say that.
You go ahead and give your albums now.
I was gonna say, okay. No, go ahead. Because I want to see if he mentions it. But yeah. Wait, do you listen yours? Do you listen yours?
No, I'm doing mine after this.
Right.
Whoa. Sports fan.
What?
West Side Cut.
That would be my top 5. There is no Brazilian artist in my top 5.
Okay. Just make it short.
Two of them have to be Kanye albums. So
Thank you. That's the one I was saying. There's like 3 or 4 Kanye albums in my head.
That's where my point is gonna come in. But
Kanye's my favorite artist of all time. I'm being serious. It could really, my top 5 could be all Kanye.
Kanye albums, yeah.
Liberation.
But I'm not.
Well, let me ask you this.
I think
it's gonna be any albums after Yeezy something?
Yeezus is a classic.
Thank you. I love Yeezus.
Yeezus.
I love the Life of Pablo too.
I do like the Life of Pablo.
I do like it, but it's not.
I don't think it's in this top 5.
It's not Kanye though.
I don't think it's Kanye.
Damn, I got 6. Damn, I'm gonna be.
I think Kanye's best album is this.
Graduation.
Nah.
Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yeah, Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Okay.
And then College Dropout, and then Graduation. So that's 3 right there.
Okay.
And then I'll probably go with the Blueprint, Jay-Z.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Shit, that's a good one.
No Weeknd stuff on there.
Yeah.
Just throw the trilogy on there.
Yeah, the trilogy by the Weeknd. That's one.
Okay, so real weird thing. None of my favorite artists I usually have on like my favorite albums. I don't know. Yeah, like Kendrick and Kanye, I really like songs, but the whole albums, I don't know what it is for some reason. But I'll start with one. It's called Hughes by Fana Hughes. It came out in 2020. If you listen to it, it's R&B. I promise you, it's going to change your life. Second, and I'll do the last R&B album last, but I got Doris by Earl Sweatshirt. Man, go ahead and listen to that again. I'm telling you.
You made me listen to that. I was like, why am I listening?
I'm telling you. I also have. It's either the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill or Illmatic. You throw one of them two in there.
Illmatic.
It's so many. It's so many. Really. Yeah. I love 444 by Jay-Z. I don't know what it is. Then the last 2. Die For My Bitch by Baby Keem. Full body of work. It's really, if you go listen to it, it got me through dark times. I was really running 5 miles every time, and I'll listen to the whole album every time. And then the last album, I got Control, specifically the Control Deluxe. She put them extra songs in there by SZA.
It's good.
SZA is the greatest greatest artist to ever grace this earth.
What? So no Certified Lover Boy for anybody?
No.
Let's see what Nate got to say.
Y'all played him. I told you that was me.
That's not even like.
All right, so Nate's subjective list.
I'm gonna throw Thriller in again for Michael Jackson all the time.
Okay.
Kanye is hard, but Kanye can go anywhere. But for me, my favorite was always 808s and Heartbreaks. I remember too, even when it came out, and a couple years as I got older, I really got to appreciate the artistry behind it. I would go and watch live performances of Heartless, and how he would kind of just interlude with Pinocchio's story, and just seeing how he would experiment with every song performed live, because that was really when he was in his bag in terms of just that shit he made in his music.
Yeah, so that album was really
yeah. I mean, Drake talks a lot about it, so I love that album. It holds a special place in my heart. DS2 Future.
That's pretty
this is gonna be a hot take, but for me in my eyes, when we talk about runs with albums, everyone talks about Wayne in in the 2000s. Yeah. Future's run from
what?
No, I'm serious.
Wait. I get
it's not on par.
It's not on par.
I get what he's trying to say.
It's the best run in hip hop since then.
I get what he's trying to say.
No, I'm serious.
It's honestly.
Time out.
He's got a point. He's got a point because it's you got Drake right there. So Future flies under the radar.
I'm a Future, bro.
Section 80, Good Kid,
I'm a
Mad
Future
City,
Drake
To
because
Pimp a
Future
Butterfly
watched
and
him
Damn.
in What's Time to Be Alive.
Future
I'll
touching that.
stand on that.
That's better than
He watched him on almost every song.
Section 80 to Damn. That's
I'm not
Nah,
saying.
like
I'm
you
not
would
saying.
have
Nah, what are you saying?
Crazy.
Future got the best
That's 3 or 4 albums, but if we look through this right, all right, Monster, Beast Mode, 56 Nights, DS2, What's Time to Be Alive, Purple Rain, Evolve, Future, Hendrix, and Super Slimy can go out the door. Yeah, so stops there. Oh, and then I didn't even say Hendrix. I didn't even say Hendrix.
Super Slimy was
Hendrix
awful,
was-
but the rest.
And then Hendrix as well.
I see where you're coming from. I don't even think that run. I'm gonna be
was
honest.
crazy. In
Is
terms
that
of
is
switching
that
like
run better
trap music itself,
than Young
that's
Thug
ridiculous.
run, man?
Yeah,
Probably not.
It is.
Probably
It
not.
is. It's
If we
close,
throw
but I'm
if we
giving
throw
Future
Beautiful Thugger Girls in there, then we put
wait.
So Much Fun as the final project. That run, oh my
that.
goodness.
Is there any
man.
Thugger album better than DS2?
Beautiful Thugger Girls might be one of the greatest.
It's
Trap-
not better than DS2.
You pick one of the weaker Thugger albums. I still
That's
like
a
I said one of
So
the
much-
weaker ones compared to the rest.
I would say So Much Fun better than DS2. I love DS2. I just
so much fun. Nah, So Much Fun.
If it didn't happen during COVID,
You want
oh
to
my
talk
god.
Future gives March Madness, bro. It's
Man, you want to talk about
Future
So Much
gives
Fun?
March Madness.
So Much Fun was a time like.
You guys,
DS no. DS2 had a
you don't
chokehold, bro.
understand.
DS2 had a chokehold.
If we didn't have COVID that summer, So Much Fun
You
would
talking
have,
about
bro.
Hot with
Come
Gunna?
on.
You need me to read songs off DS2?
I know.
I know the
No, but I
song.
think it's forgetting. Like,
Man, how about the whip? How
I
about the
thought it
whip
was
like a
Drought.
slave master?
I
I
saw
know the
the
song.
Where you at?
Six or Slime Season 3?
That was a
I think
bar.
that's-
I remember
Little
the.
Bag,
I remember
Colossal,
I remember the white kids. sitting in
Track. Come on, bro.
The white kids would sit in the front of the car and they'd be like, "How about the whip like a slave master?" They was putting them quotes up. That's how influential it was. But I think, you know, I agree. I get what you're saying. That's a great
Future,
run.
Yeah, Future
But
was
we-
awesome.
All right, so
That's 3 so far, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Man.
shout out Future. I want to say a Thug album, just cause.
Just cause.
No, I'll say Jeffrey for me. I'll go Thug Jeffrey.
Look at that. You got Jeffrey Beautiful. So
Sa-
much fun.
I don't know if y'all listen
All
to
the
Saba.
slime
Pray
seasons.
for me. Pray for me by Saba.
Life. Man.
Yeah.
Some
And then I need one more. I need one more in there. Actually, 2 more.
Go and throw,
Hey, man, go ahead.
go and throw Rodeo in there.
You said nah.
Sorry.
Nah, Kiss Land by The Weeknd, and then Channel Orange by Frank.
That's one
Gotta
of my
be Frank
favorites.
one.
I love Frank. He makes me-
Trilogy also gets there.
He makes me cry.
You know, he already took Trilogy.
Man, Frank
So,
Ocean's
I'll showcase
that's
that
probably my
song.
favorite artist of all time. Frank Ocean.
You want to do one last
Yeah, I was
question?
gonna say, how many questions we got left, Caleb?
Bro, we can do like 3.
We do what? 1, 2 more?
2, 2, 3.
How many we got left, Caleb?
And then also, I have one more. Wizkid made Lagos. All right, I'm done.
Okay. How many more, Caleb?
We can do 2 more.
Okay.
All right.
The house is burning as well.
We're going to
love
save
that.
extras for our next after hours.
Yeah. Probably ask some more questions too.
Yeah.
What is your favorite comfort movie? Or what is your comfort movie?
Favorite comfort movie?
A movie.
Any Marvel movie. Well, not any Marvel movie. Oh, man.
Comfort
I'm really big. Nah,
Comfort?
I'm really big. Yeah. Late
No,
at night-
I'm not talking about you.
Nah, late at night, I just be, man, what I'm about to watch.
Iron Man.
Throw on Iron Man. Man, Iron Man 1,
Yeah,
man.
you can throw any.
Man,
I heard,
those
like,
Marvel
the
movies.
Thor movie, the first
No,
two Thor movies.
Dark World was disgustingly bad.
Yeah,
I
it was
sat
really
through it.
bad.
I sat through it because you gotta go through the timeline. See how
I
everything.
did that too. It
I
was-
never seen
Man,
it.
Throwing
So
on,
lucky.
throwing on Infinity War.
You missed
sometimes.
nothing from that movie. It's literally nothing to
Man.
watch.
That is
Throwing on
Which one?
Infinity War
Dark
just
World.
2 o'clock in the morning.
You right. Get you right.
And just, man, that's cinema.
It was really good.
So I hate I hate to go back to sports, but like probably either Sandlot or Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious.
I got.
Fast and Furious, the original.
We gotta stop you right away.
No, like just a series. in
just a
general.
series.
Oh, I was hoping you was gonna say the original. I was at least
You watch
that.
you watch
Love
1
and
through
basketball.
7
But
to
Oh my god.
get you
No, if you watch 1 through 7 straight, I know it looks
Just for
crazy.
just for
It's
comfort.
Fast and Furious is your comfort movie. That should give you
I said-
anxiety.
I'm saying like it's just I could just throw, but because I've watched it so much, like I just kind of
You watch it so much.
I could just throw one of them on and
throw
then
on
just kinda
Tokyo
like,
Drift. You
I'm
good to
gonna turn
go.
around.
Now,
I'm gonna
Tokyo
go
Drift was a good movie.
That
was
was
a
a
good one.
That was a
The
good
first
one.
one was good.
Alright.
And then
Fast 5 was probably when it started to go
that's
downhill.
when it started to get a little bit.
Don't
Once
worry
they
about
put
it.
Dwayne in there.
They went to
Now,
space.
when Dwayne,
That was number 2.
Now, when Dwayne broke his arm and then he broke his arm out the cast by himself.
That was number
that
7.
That was goofy.
Have they gone to space
This
yet?
boy
No.
know
When John Cena got added to, what was the last one?
That's the last one. That's the last one.
that boy know the movies, man.
Bro, what's his name?
What's the one where they flew out
knows
the hotel in Dubai? What number was that?
That was 8.
Damn,
That was
That
Ronda
Fast and
Rousey,
Furious
right?
trivia. My
Ronda Rousey's in that one.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I mean, I seen clips on YouTube.
They need to put me in there at this point.
Yeah, you bad,
So wait, they those like them going to space, that was fake.
No, I think they
that happened. That was the last movie.
happened.
Man, no.
See what I'm saying?
I got.
How's that comfort?
Who's next?
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
I got a couple. Brother Bear.
Oh, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Brother Bear. I don't know if y'all seen what's it called, Over the Hedge.
I love that movie.
I love
that movie.
That's probably not
I ain't seen either of those two.
It's a very solid.
Those were good.
Over the Hedge.
Yeah,
I don't think
Turtle,
anything else.
Oh,
And then probably Spirited Away. That's the studio.
Oh yeah, I watched it a couple months ago actually.
Yeah,
Oh, I got one
That
more.
just scared the mess out
I got
of
one
me.
more.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of wrong.
I
I
got
like
one
it
more.
now
No,
though. Like,
no,
I got one more. Since I was a kid, Fat Albert.
Yes.
Yeah.
My parents will tell you. My dad used to have a truck where we would have a screen with
My dad the same.
I would play Fat Albert front and back, especially when we
No
go on
cap.
trips. Fat Albert was my movie. I knew it line for line. I don't know it line for line no more. I gotta get back on my Fat Albert trivia so I can recite it like Brian with Fast and Furious. But Fat Albert was it for me.
Do you have the redacted little CD case that came with
I probably
Yeah, I know
Fat
what
Albert
you're talking
TV
about.
series?
I know what you're talking about.
And then they had the Hornets joint on it. You know redacted.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly.
Which one you talking about?
I be feeling.
Hey,
I would
Bill?
feel bad.
Yeah, hey, I had the whole DVD set. Bro.
Wait, yeah, hey, no more Fat Albert talk.
Yeah, they getting.
They take
I
it
know,
out.
let me go.
Man, how?
So, starting from the oldest would be Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Very solid.
And then,
I love that film.
and then
That's pretty good.
Into the Spider-Verse. I love that movie. And then I'm freaking one. Hold on.
I ain't gonna lie, JJ picks how I should like say.
Oh, The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
That's a comfort film?
Man,
I don't
that dark-
See what I'm
I'll be
saying?
so relaxed watching the Joker.
Man, that film was as dark as this computer screen the whole time. What's comfortable about that? I have to watch that with the
Wait,
lights on
that's
all the
Bane.
time.
That was Bane. Which one
Dark
was
Knight.
Joker?
Dark Knight. The Dark
It's
Knight.
Dark Knight, and then that one.
I think it's,
All the movies was dark.
it's weird for me because
I'm relaxed.
So JB,
about-
what's yours?
Oh, I would say any Will Ferrell movie, man. That made me happy.
Step
The
Brothers.
classic one.
Step Brothers,
Elf?
Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
My mom used to watch Elf all the time, bro. God, thanks.
What's the one where he's like a race car driver?
Talladega
Talladega
Nights.
Nights.
Ricky
He
Bobby.
said, well, it's piss and excellence.
Elite. It's one movie that no one really talks about. It's called Land of the Lost. This is my favorite movie.
I never seen it.
Check that out, bro. Check
I
that
think
No,
Click by Adam Sandler. I like that movie
But
too.
it was,
out. That's Step Brothers.
No.
I mean,
The Good Guys?
the other guys.
The other guys, yeah.
The other guys.
And
What?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson and
Yep.
what's his name jumped off.
Oh,
He
no.
said, if I want you to talk, put my hand in. He said, if I want you to talk, put my hand in your ass and work it like a puppet.
one thing.
Very well.
One thing that's weird for me, I don't watch movies twice. So even my favorite movie, I've never seen
I
it.
get that.
My favorite movie is probably Baby Driver or Nightcrawler or Whiplash. One of those three. I've never seen
He's
them.
a cinephile.
Those are
Bro,
He's a
I
cinephile.
love movies.
Really, it came-
A24.
He's a cinephile.
I like-
He's a cinephile.
I like Boyhood. I seen Green
Oh, yeah,
Book.
I've seen that.
Bro,
Have you
I
seen,
could watch.
any of the A24 horror films?
Yes, Midsummer. I guess it's a thriller.
Not Midsommar,
But you talk
Hereditary.
about.
Midsummer.
Yeah, I think I
That
love
joint was the
Hereditary.
scariest thing I've ever seen in my
So
life.
it's like, oh, that's the Babadook as well. But we can
Babadook?
keep, man, we can
Hey,
keep
hey,
going.
hey. They were talking about
Look,
Babadook.
one thing I can talk about all day for real is like movies and music. But since I don't watch too many movies over and over again, one that I did when I was a kid was called Thugaboo. I don't know if nobody ever seen that before. But basically what they did as kids was they wanted these Jordans, but they called them like Eric Jeffries or something.
Okay.
So they wanted the shoes so bad they made like a sweatshop where they'll make fake shoes and they sold them to everybody as little kids.
That's crazy.
So that was the whole like thing of the
Did
show.
they have the white boy?
Yes, the white boy
I
with
mean,
the
so-
cornrows
yeah,
and the
okay.
headband. I'm telling you, man.
Do y'all
You gotta
know
watch
this?
this for real.
You know, like a
This is
comfort TV show?
The Wines Brothers was
Yes, that was really a good movie. It was
It has to be.
a comfort TV show. The first season of Atlanta. Cause it's like a skit, and I like skit shows. So like I like SVU as well.
Yes.
I don't know if it's a skit show, but like Criminal Minds, the shows
Just
where they
the same-
change
right,
the
right.
topic every
I
single.
love SVU.
Right.
That's like the perfect show playing in the background.
Long-
I'm not gonna hold you. I used to do homework and watch SVU in the background.
That's crazy.
He be talking.
Nah, stupid people that do that.
What do you mean picking up? I was like, oh, it's him. That's crazy.
They do one thing.
Every episode, so he be locked in the beginning.
Wait, let me run that back.
I'm gonna do Avatar.
Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar, yeah. I think-
Jalen with Brandon. one of your-
Comfort shows?
Yeah, comfort TV show. If you have one, if you know this one.
It was what was that show? I think it was called Sight. I don't know if y'all ever watched it.
I know what it
I
is.
seen
I
it.
never heard of it.
It used to come on after WWE back in the
Yeah,
day.
it was on the same channel. Yeah.
And Burn noticed. Both of them joints used to come on right after.
Yes.
I used to be locked in back in the day.
Okay.
For me, I I would say I can always watch Status Shock. That give me, I like old childhood.
Man, you know,
come on now.
You're wrapping up in front of the mic.
My bad, Mike. But so there's that one. And
they said the Batman animated shows too. I would say
those are solid too. I could watch Ben 10. I watched the whole series of Ben 10 over COVID. That's my goal.
Every series?
The whole, from the beginning to not all the new just from Ben 10 to the original. And then Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
nice.
That's my type of.
I gotta get back. Yeah, I be off and on Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But I would say my comfort TV shows. When I was a kid, it would have been SpongeBob. But now that I am,
show all the time.
A grown man.
You don't miss.
I would say The Office.
That's a good one. That's
the first like 3 seasons of SpongeBob.
Yeah. The Office. I'm trying to think. There's one I'm missing. But I don't want to dive deep into. What you want to say?
Did you ever watch Parks and Rec? Or would you think of that?
I like Parks and Rec more than The Office. Yes, I do.
Because all I heard was it's like the same as The Office, but I don't want to, I don't feel like I was cheating on The Office.
I feel like Parks and Rec is a little bit more vibrant. Yeah. Like they be going out the office and everything and doing more things.
It's Parks and Rec, so.
No. Like they work. They work in the office, but they you'll see them at home and doing things like that. But it's the same type of.
Okay. Last question.
Yeah.
What is that show?
I'll brand this thing.
With that girl.
I guess so. My shows like.
What is the worst?
Oh wait, my fault. I forgot. We forgot to get Brian's real quick.
All right, like real quick. So like probably Keenan and Kel.
Oh yeah.
Kids Next Door probably a little bit. And then some recent shows probably like Abbott and the Wonder Years.
Abbott Elementary is good TV, man.
Abbott Elementary is hilarious.
I need to watch.
It's that one show. It's the girl, and then she got like 3 boy roommates, and it's like 2 black men. One is a coach.
New Girl.
Yes.
New Girl.
New Girl.
I still ain't.
What was the question?
I got some Shameless TV. I used to watch One Tree Hill. I used to watch.
Man, Shameless TV.
Man, Pretty Little Liars was really in my bag.
I go lie.
Bad Girls Club. Some of them seasons was really.
No.
Bad Girls Club.
What?
Riverdale first season.
Bad Girls Club.
Wait. Who said that?
I was saying
with the
y'all shameless.
With the Claremont twins, and they threw the bed in the water. They threw her mattress in the water, bro.
I'm watching Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Have you seen what Riverdale is?
Yeah, I got off of it.
Like 5th grade year to like 8th grade year. I was
if y'all see Selling Sunset on Netflix, I'm telling you, man. I'm trying.
I heard good things about Bad Girls.
I don't know. I'm trying to put y'all on for real. Some of this women TV, Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I thought I was gonna be bad. I was gonna say Jane the Virgin. That's my show.
Jane the Virgin, first season.
That's not as bad as Bad Girls.
No, I'm saying, but you thought that was shit.
I feel cool. You said Bad Girls Club.
No, but what was you about to say?
We can keep going. Like I know so many shameless shows. Real Housewives, Love It or List It. Oh my gosh, such a good show. I probably need to get back on there and look for someone. No. Chopped. Oh my gosh. Cutthroat Kitchen. I used to turn that on. I was 16. Used to just turn that on.
I used to do that too.
Any of y'all watch Love Island?
First season, I think I seen it.
Would you say
Love Island?
Love Island.
I couldn't watch that.
I can't watch it like on social media. I never watched it.
Hilarious. It was good.
We can.
It's a great dating show.
Alright, we need to come back to this.
Yeah.
So final question.
I used to watch Bachelorette.
Next question.
Final question.
Hey, he's studying film.
We can keep going, man.
Last but not least.
All right, so last question. What is the worst whipping you got, and why did you get that whipping?
The worst what?
Whipping. Like spanking you ever got.
Man, I was a good kid, man. I'll go first. I was a good kid, but I always tell this story, man. My mom, she's not really, the most imposing figure. But I don't remember really what happened. But I just don't think I was on my best behavior this day, I would say. So, I was in the kitchen, trying to leave the kitchen or running away. I had asthma. So I felt like if I was running fast enough, they would feel bad for me if I started faking an asthma attack. But this time it didn't work. My mom's normally the nice one because I used to fear potential whooping from my dad. My dad's a bigger guy. Well, he really was a bigger guy back in the past. But my mom really caught me one time because I think I was trying to run and she caught me by the arm. And no belt, no nothing, just her hand.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. In the kitchen, on the kitchen floor. I was almost out the kitchen, almost. And my dad was just on the couch watching. I was just pleading for help. I was trying to have an asthma attack, but it really didn't phase her.
I'm sorry.
So yeah,
I'm sorry.
she knows. We've talked about this before.
She gonna see the episode, right?
Oh, she knows.
Yeah.
She watches the episode.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom. Yeah, we've talked about this as the past moment, but yeah, I got caught in the kitchen, and that's the most memorable whooping. I don't know if it's the worst, but it's the most memorable because it was pretty embarrassing.
It's like 2 stories for real. First one, bro, my best friend from like kindergarten, he set me up for real. We was in like 1st grade, and we was playing we was supposed to be quiet during lunch. We played a little game. You go like this, then we went like this. Then I put my middle finger up, and he told on me, and he said,
No,
I
I know that feeling,
and we
bro.
went to a Christian school, so they went and they called my parents, man. And then the last one, the most impactful one, it was no beating for real. I think I was like 16 or 17. I did something. They called my parents. I thought I was good because I'm 17 at this point. Like, if you whoop me, it's not going to be nothing for real. I got home.
Sorry.
There was no bed in my room. There was no clothes in my closet. It was an air mattress, a table, it was a Bible on it, and a light. I had no clothes. I would wake up the next morning, leave out my room. It would be black shoes sitting there. It would be khaki pants and a burgundy shirt. And I would leave out and go to school. And I would come back, and it would be a different book. And it would just be the light, and there would be nothing in the room.
How long were you like this?
Bro, this was like a week. But after a week...
So did they do it like trying to say,
bro,
like, this
I wrote,
jail is like this?
after 4 days, I wrote a handwritten letter and like tweeted it back. I said...
You always used to find a way
I said, I don't know. I was like, I don't need my Xbox or nothing. I just want like a regular life. I just want to be able to choose what I want to wear. Like, because I used to have like, you know how you could switch up your uniform. I used to have like them American Eagle polos on. I used to have like the little cargo type shorts. No, straight leg khaki. Shirt was too big. It was probably a large, like extra large.
Are they really
That's
funny?
Bill Carrington, though. That's better than me.
It's better than being
large.
me.
You're like 5 foot.
That's good.
And I was 5'1" till probably about senior year of high school for real.
So you was like 5'2" at this point.
Man, I was about 170 though, so I was a little. But still, man, it was so crazy because she used to get them big shirts from Rainbow, and them shirts is not good quality. Man, I remember that so vividly, huh?
Now, I know you. Did you take the bus?
You gotta tuck it.
I took the bus to school, man.
I know that first time you got on the bus.
And my trumpet was at the door, so I would be walking with the trumpet too. It was really crazy times, but you know, character development.
What shoes was it? Random black shoes?
Buford's, man.
What you get? What happened at that point that got you in trouble?
It was probably something like.
Were you gang in trouble, Alvin?
They said I used to talk too much and like elementary, middle school. Yeah. So honestly, low key, when I got to high school, I stopped talking. It was something I did. Like, I think I lied to her about something. Oh man, I used to sneak out the house and go ride my bike to a girl house when I was like 16, 17. Yeah. And I think I told her one day I was riding a bike and I seen, because my dad has a very noticeable truck, and I seen it drive right past me. And right there, I was on the way, and I said, at that point, I might as well lock in. Come home.
It's gonna be better when I get home. It's gonna be better when I get home.
They thought I was riding in my neighborhood, so to see me on 301 is like it's jarring for real. Because I was big and I wanted to lose weight, but then at the same time, it was my first girlfriend ever, so I was like, I'm gonna lock
whatever
in.
It take.
And
lock in.
To see me on 301, I really froze in my own body because it was like the way, because he drives a commercial truck, so you see the name of the company, and the only time I see that truck, we used to be when we was kids, we'd be like, that's Dad right there, and we would see him drive past. So I seen that joint, I said, man, hopefully he did not see me, but
he saw you.
Man, you said he was 170. He seen you.
You say it's 301? How can he not see you?
Did you have that afro?
I was on 301.
He was 170.
I think that was the.
Afro. He definitely seen you.
I think, yeah, so that was like the start. It was like a whole week thing where I was on 301, he see me, and then I think the next day was when they actually called my parents for something. I don't remember, but I came home and everything was...
Yeah, they had that on.
At that point, it was like, all right,
it was like, bro, take this air mattress. Go ahead.
Because he probably could have.
And I was actually like reading the Bible for comprehension, like word for word. I was in there. I wasn't even taking no notes.
What exactly am I looking for here?
It was some.
How do I get out of this?
It was some good, man. Lord, it was some real parables in there, man.
Man started spraying and he got stuff back in there.
Let me start talking to the man.
That boy was looking for the right words.
Maybe if they see me reading it, they'll let me out.
used to sit in the living room and just cross my legs. I used to be.
Nah, you come to dinner with the Bible in your hand?
Am I late to dinner? I was so invested in the word.
She'd be on the computer.
I read it like twice. I started over and I keep reading it.
She'd be on the computer right there. I'm reading.
Mom, did you know?
Hey, man. My mother's I couldn't say that. My mother's a minister. She'd be like, "Hey, you don't want to test me."
Oh my goodness.
But I just.
So I asked you like 15
If
questions.
you just start saying random scriptures.
Ooh.
That's a good one right there.
You know, man.
Literally.
Start saying my prayers, speaking in tongues during the prayers before.
This is what you wanted me to hear. I found it. Now let me out.
We be doing the prayers before dinner. And like in John 3:16. But yeah,
like
that's
John 3:16.
You never said your prayers as well before. Oh, you're so serious now. You're locked in.
He be opening one eye.
They be like,
yeah, I think JB.
Mine's not
I mean, JB, JG, if y'all want to give me one.
I think it was more harsh just because my mom was.
yeah, but mine isn't that like.
Yeah, mine's
She was studying to be a minister, so you had to.
I can say
Honestly, I've only gotten like spanked like maybe 3-4 times. Cause like after the 4th time, like
you good?
The will of God was like.
Boy, I was
like,
getting spanked.
But like, no, cause I quickly learned.
Once
like,
a week, man.
There was one time
when I was young. Once a week.
There was.
Dang, what was wrong?
My mom, one time she came to. I used to go to a school that was a church.
Wait. Take this for last.
Let's let the 3 go first. Let the 3 go first.
I ain't gonna lie though. In middle school for like 1 year, I was like a badass kid, and then my mom like had to talk to me, and she made me feel like really like guilty. She made me realize like I was just like acting out for no reason. Like I ain't gonna lie, yeah, because she hit me with the like, and I like because she.
You about to cry right
now?
Relax. Mental health.
No, we're trying to find like the right way to explain it. Like I guess like for people who have like parents that came to this country, like you'll hear a lot about like and for her especially, both my parents, like but for her especially, like the sacrifices they made. Yeah. So she was telling me like why like now, because I wasn't really like misbehaved like as a kid. Yeah. So that point of respect for like I didn't even understand it until like later, but like in the moment I remember that it was really profound for me. I don't know why. I think I was just acting out for the sake of like attention. That's a moment. That's a whole episode. But the worst beating I got was I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember my dad like got to spanking me. I tried to run away. I can't make this up. He picked up a book and like threw that joint at me, and it cut me. Like he cut me. And I remember at first, like, my mom was cool and like saying me, but as soon as she came, she was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You
can't be throwing books to the kids.
Whoa! Calm down.
You gotta stay here.
I get it.
It's like he grabbed me by the hand and he
But he going to. What if you tell the teacher? Nah, because if you go tell the teacher,
so like I was like, and then I broke out something like picked up a fucking.
Yeah, you can't tell the teacher that.
Yeah.
Why you walking like that? You okay?
All that being said, though, shout out my parents. They did a great job.
Shout out to the parents.
I love them.
Shout out my parents. It's crazy after the statements y'all made. What y'all did really helped me.
Hey, it made us the men we are today.
My mom never spanked. That's always my dad. But my mom, yeah. Bless her soul.
I wouldn't spank that much either, but like, if I ever, when I've been punished, but I've never got spanked, I would get like my stuff taken. Like I would take games, phones, all my shit away, all my shoes. I'll be out like Brandon.
I would find the stuff. I would look. They would leave the house.
I wouldn't know where they at.
I would look.
But I was like,
I could never find it. No remorse. I would find it and it would still be in my room. I would play it and it would still be there.
Oh, you're
crazy.
And
they would have to take it again.
You're crazy.
They would have to take it again.
It's gonna be noticeable that I touched it. The way they set it up, they would know I was.
They would put it in the bottom of their hamper, man.
That's
so sick.
That's nasty.
Especially when they took.
I don't know what I did, but I must have did something so bad. They took all my shit away and they got me a bookcase. And I just started asking for books. And I just started reading books for like a few months straight.
That shouldn't be a punishment though, man. Our youth is done.
real.
That's a good punishment. That's a good punishment.
That's a good punishment.
I think because of that is where I'm at. I did not read at all.
I was gonna say over someone as a kid. My dad like maybe I think even before like we really saw multiplication, he made me do like multiplication like at least like 12 problems minimum a day, and then he made me like read a book, like 2 books each summer, like write a report on each of them, like by hand.
They
had you read. For your future.
They had you read clean code.
Nah,
I'm gonna get my kids on some coding, man.
I'm gonna get them into them NFTs, man. They gonna be
absolutely.
This the month of the
NFTs not gonna be a
NFTs gonna be done by the time.
Nah, but
you mean next year?
You want your kids to get scammed?
I already got 3, man. You can't make them on.
50% off method. They gonna be running the streets in my house.
All right, so JB.
One time I got my phone and laptop taken.
Yeah.
So I had to still wait to text and communicate with people. Shawty gave me her iPad or iPod, and I was able to use that.
You was fiending. What a fiend.
Man.
You gotta be resourceful. Gotta be resourceful, man.
You gotta do, huh?
Gotta be resourceful.
I respect it.
For me,
what were you using? You want to kick or something with that thing?
Man,
please, dark days. Dark days. The darkest of days.
I logged into my iMessage like my phone.
So dark.
This is my email though.
You can't get
What was your email? His email was probably disgusting.
It's my name. My name is 00.
Oh, you have an email when you were a kid?
Hey man, that 00 been there for a while, huh?
What's the point behind the double zero?
I made 2,000.
The years he was born.
00.
Hey, that's social engineering right
Then
there.
that Madden with Brett Favre cover came out. That was like 2009.
09.
I remember that. I made that, and I've not changed it since.
Yeah, that was one. That was one.
Gave you the option to change.
that's my last one.
Yeah, they gave me an option, but you think you only get one, right? So
when I was on Xbox, you could only get one, or you had to pay $10 to change it again. I remember that.
I don't think PlayStation let you buy.
No, they do it. You can change it. You only gotta pay
for PlayStation.
The second, third time.
Oh, PlayStation, you got yours?
You know this.
When does it come out?
It's already in.
You've been looking at the box.
You got your 2K already?
I unboxed it yesterday.
So what? You got your 2K already?
Yeah, we hoop.
It's too late, man. It's too late in the year.
You gonna wait till 2020 to come out?
There's some discounts on there.
Get on the FIFA. FIFA for free, right?
I know. I already got FIFA.
Oh, we can.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We can run tonight for real.
All right, JB.
Tonight. This morning?
JB.
For me, I wasn't really spanked that much as a child either. You laughing?
I really wasn't.
I wasn't. Now, I'm not saying I was a good kid, but most of my punches were like corporal punches. Like I had to be in push-up position for a long time and stuff like that.
Losses.
Stuff like that.
You remind me of something. So I'll say something real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
I did something when I expect people grown-ups. I did something in practice that made the coach. I talked back to a coach or something.
I've done that too.
And then my dad made me run on the treadmill with my equipment on for like.
Wow.
I remember that one. That was
great
really wild. I was really shit though, but that shit was. Oh my god.
I remember once I had to like sit against the wall with my head up for like 20 minutes.
No, 1 hour your pad is crazy.
Yeah, 1 hour in the pad is treadmill. After you already had a full practice.
Yeah.
Hey, that's why you're top 5 recruit, right?
Is there?
5-star recruit.
-5.
But yeah, yeah, I can't talk about some of the punishers. I don't know if I can speak on that. Yeah, but
yeah, man. Only that you willing to say this for the public.
We can redact it.
No,
I want to hear.
No,
I want to hear.
Look. I had a smart mouth. I still do. I learned to control it a lot more. But I used to push my mouth to the limits.
All right, so Brandon.
My bad. Let me finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's getting crazy.
I tell a story about when I was a little kid. My mom always talks about it, like constantly. We were learning. I was probably like 5 or 6, something like that. We was learning phone numbers in school. My mom was like, "Look, y'all learn phone numbers. Don't be giving your number out." I was like, "Yeah, I got you. I ain't gonna give it out to nobody, right?" Whole time I had a crush in 1st grade. We sent it to each other. She was like, "What's your number?" I said, "This my number." And she gave me her number on a little piece of paper. So my mom picked me up from school, and I'm knocked out in the backseat. So I'm knocked out in the backseat. I got
about to say we had a house like that.
Yeah. I got the girl number in my hand, balled up, laid like this, right? My mom looking back, she get the jump. She looked at, she's like, I know this. So, like a week go by, right? The girl called my house, leave a voicemail talking about, I'm here calling to talk to Jalen. Mind you, be like 5, 6 years old, calling to see me, right? And my mom, she recorded, and the next day,
crazy.
She say, hey, you gave your number out? I'm like, nah.
Nope. She guessed it.
She already knew. Because the girl called my house like twice, like 2 days in a row. I was like, nah, I ain't do that. So she ended up bringing my stepdad, and they bring me in a room, and they played a tape of the girl talking to
like
me.
an interrogation.
Like an interrogation.
Man.
We know what you did.
They said, you fucked up, right?
Literally.
I get it.
He's in there at 6.
I was like, I know y'all ain't just do me like this, bro. I get the spasm, get the crying and all that.
Did you at least lock in?
I locked in. I'm lying. I don't remember that. I can't remember that much. My mom always.
You don't remember what happened after?
Nah, my mom always brings
memory stops, huh? Right there.
I mean, what you want me to do?
And from that point on, I never remember.
They knocked the memory out of it.
Yeah. I was traumatized to that, man. I lost all trust in my parents, man.
Real quick,
Crazy statement. What do you mean by that?
if we talk about the last beating real quick, I'm just get out the way. I forgot what I did, but they had like little pink slips, and they would give you a pink slip, you'd be good to go.
They had to take it home and
I was at no, they didn't. They called. She came to the school. She knocked on the door. They opened up the door. She told me to come out. She took me to the women's bathroom because I was only like 6 or 7. Yeah. She beat me in the women's bathroom. Dang. There was a girl in the stall next to me. Then we left, and she put me back in class, tears running down my face, and then left for the day. And then she picked me up from school, act like nothing happened.
This is a drive-by.
No, but I gotta get one more out. Bro. Yeah. One more, because that just brought a memory back. So I was in the barbershop one day. I was acting a fool.
Dang.
Me and my brother.
I acted a fool in the barbershop.
My brother and I were. So it was like a barbershop where it was like kind of like a booth. So it was like a booth or whatever that like stretched throughout like the whole building, and then it was like the barbers like in front of you basically. So
watch the work. Huh?
So one day, me and my brother were just like acting up. My dad just was like constantly like telling us like chill out and stuff. But obviously we weren't listening. We were like just gonna keep going. So at one point, my dad takes both of us to the bathroom, and of course he space both of us.
Damn, at the same time?
Double team. Overtime.
And then we have to, and then we both, and then basically he takes us right back out. Obviously,
you still get your cuts?
Yeah,
like tears and everything. And we like sit, and then we had to go sit down and like.
And then I know that cut hurt too, man. You put the alcohol on at the end. Oh my god.
That alcohol brings back every memory of the beating.
This has been a fun first after hours episode.
Now we'll definitely do more of these.
This is cinema right here.
We appreciate everybody. We appreciate everybody that reached out and gave us questions.
Shout out to Caleb too for saying all of this and being the moderator.
2 hours, man.
For sure, man.
Caleb,
we appreciate
the producer.
Thanks,
appreciate our producer Caleb for asking the questions.
Yes,
Again, we appreciate all of y'all for providing us with questions. Feel free to continue to give us questions because I'm sure we'll probably do another mailbag in the future. This has been the first After Hours episode of the What's the Play podcast, and we will see you guys next time.
After Hours. Here we go.